And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our growlings when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding.
I mean, are you kidding? Today could not have come any sooner. We've literally been counting down since the get go, from the jump. All of the qualifiers now leading to this. We have an amazing group of HBCU students competing today in the grand finale, and it is an honor, an absolute honor, to be casting it alongside you, proving such a great, well, actually providing such a great opportunity to these students.
Guitar, simmer down and mash me up. Tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drum me round and go right forward. Shivers down my spinal cord. Oh, 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 oh. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word.
Hello, everyone. Technology. It's weird, but it's fine because we are back. Welcome to McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Gamers HBCU tournament featuring Fortnite, presented by Coca-Cola. I am your host, Bordy McBoard, and join alongside me is the excellent, the wonderful, the fantastic Captain at Soka. We're here to talk about all of the awesomeness that's going to happen. And I just want to ask you, Cap, are you as excited as I am for the start of this grand finale?
Now, I think that's a little bit of an understatement. I could not be more ready for this. And for those of you just joining, by all means, welcome back again, as once again, we are going to be breaking down how
Mhm.
all of this has led to this final moment, this grand finale. We have already gone through all the qualifiers, all the
Mhm.
best of the best to make it here today. And today could not have come any sooner. We have an amazing group of HBCU students competing today in the grand finale, and it is an honor to be casting it alongside you, Board and McBoard, providing such a great opportunity for these students.
In honor? Oh, don't make me cry, Cap. But that's right. In partnership with Bragg House, with McDonald's, and Coca-Cola, we're here to champion the phenomenal Fortnite skills of HBCU students in this tournament. Current HBCU students, mind you, around the country for a chance of competing for three 15,000. That's 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $15,000 scholarships provided by Thurgood Marshall College Funds and many other more prizes.
I'm telling you, Bordy, whenever I hear what is on the line here, $15,000 in scholarships,
Mhm.
keep in mind I'm a student as well, I start drooling a little bit. You know, even I think that
Ugh.
that could change a lot for me. But every time I read or hear of the prizes these students are competing for in this tournament, my jaw, it literally drops. A
Mhm.
$15,000 scholarship can quite literally change someone's future by alleviating such a large sum of student loan debt or upcoming tuition bills. And again,
Mm.
just got to give a huge shout out to McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Bragg House, and of course TMCF for their collaborative effort to shine a spotlight on HBCU students and provide them with such an amazing opportunity.
And speaking of amazing opportunities, let's remind all the students what they're competing for today, because we're not only talking about the $15,000 scholarship, but we're also going to talk about the top 10 finishers, because the top 10 finishers of the day will receive an incredible merch package that includes up to a computer backpack, a t-shirt, a cap hat, a Mophie power bag, a mouse pad, a privacy camera cover, a pop socket, and potentially many more prizes. Cap, that's a lot of good things.
You know, it definitely is. And that's not even close to being it. I'm telling you, Bordy, they're the three tournament champions, which will officially be revealed and crowned on December 17th, day before my birthday,
Mm.
at the
Ha.
Celebration Bowl. And they will win. Keep in mind, the three tournament champions will win a paid trip to Atlanta for the Celebration Bowl, a VIP visit at the Coca-Cola headquarters in Atlanta, a spot in the McDonald's Fortnite Esports League for 2023, a Black and Positively Golden Gamer 2022 trophy, and it's a really nice one too. And lastly, the crown jewel prize, $15,000 in scholarship to each of the three winners, provided by none other than the Thurgood Marshall College Fund.
I gotta crank the Dr. Evil $15,000. Yes, there's most definitely a lot of good things on the line, and there's a lot of celebrations going on too, because it's gonna be around Cap's birthday, and we have the champion and the Celebration Bowl champion as well. A lot of good things going out there. But before I get into the action, for those of you who couldn't join us for the qualifiers on October 23rd and November 6th, it's a-okay. We got you. Let's bring you up to speed with what you could have seen on that date. And the ball is yours, Cap. Make it do what it do.
Oh, well, let me tell you something, because this was an absolute nuttery buttery just display of Fortnite gaming here. Take a look at this, Bordy. In total, we have had 4 qualifiers consisting of 5 heats in each, where student gamers from HBCUs across the country have competed in a leaderboard format to represent their school and win some bragging rights along all the other prizes they are competing for. So I don't need to remind everyone, but I will, of November 6th, where we had 15 total Fortnite games in a single day.
Oof, man, it was sweaty, all right? And not just because I was hot in my room. I'm talking about the competition. It got really intense. The heat was on, and I'm not talking about those heats that happen. But now let's do a little bit of a quick breakdown about how this grand finale is going to run, right? Because we have over 70 HBCU students who advanced to the qualifiers to our grand finale, which consisted of a similar format that qualifiers we had on or held on that day. The 5 heat placements and the eliminations will be the deciding factor depending on the gamer status in the overall leaderboard.
Oh, this is definitely going to be very, very exciting, Bordy, as we are preparing the gamers behind the scenes to load up to the first heat. Alexia Gordon from McDonald's has a few words for the participating students.
To really show your skills and really have an opportunity to enjoy this time. At McDonald's, we are committed to feeding and fostering the communities that we serve, and we are committed to making sure that we provide opportunities for HBCU students. I am a proud Howard alum representing my school this afternoon, and just really, really excited to be here and share with you all this great opportunity. And so I'm not going to take too much of your time, because I want you all to be able to enjoy the gameplay. So, just know that we here at McDonald's are rooting for each of you, and we are looking forward to spending some time with the 3 winners in Atlanta in a couple of weeks. So good luck to everyone today.
And I love that, really encouraging and telling these students what's going to happen. I appreciate all the help that we've been getting from McDonald's in order to make sure that these things are possible, because these scholarships can change lives. You talked about it a little bit, Cap, how much this money would mean to you as a student. Can you imagine being in these students' positions where, hey, loans can get expensive. Myself, I do have a lot of student loans as a graduate not too long ago. So having all of these expenses, or at least cutting into a sizable portion of these expenses, it can really make a difference. So you got to give love to Coke for all of that help, because Cap, you said yourself, hey, loans, they're a lot.
They are. And honestly, being back in school finally after such a long time, having to pay out of pocket, I can tell you how hard it is to try and make it through and be able to pay for school. But with that being said, this isn't all about the big chunk of change. If you're watching, if you're someone at home enjoying, we have some stuff for you too. We're talking about a lot of prizes and a lot of giveaways, so don't be worried. We want to spread the love as much as we can for those of you watching at home. So keep an eye out throughout the stream for the raffle announcements in the chat, because we have nearly 200 merch items to raffle away today.
There are plenty of giveaways, but we're not going to give away all the exciting action. We're about to start the gameplay, guys. So if you've been waiting on this, well, it's about to go down as we see the cam of Dre's daddy. We're getting off the battle bus and about to start the bus to the Celebration Bowl.
Oh, absolutely. And now, we're going to see a lot of familiar faces, because you got to keep in mind, we've already seen a lot of breakout players within the qualifiers and in those initial heats. So it's going to be interesting to see a lot of those players from the different qualifiers match up head-to-head here today. And already we can see the different types of POIs that these players are already dropping to. And we're going to start things off with Cambot21 over at Chrome Crossroads.
Yeah, Kimba 21, Chrome Crossroads getting it in. A lot of players at Chrome Crossroads, it seems. I think there's a 5-person drop, as you see right there. So Cam's going to definitely have to make sure they land on a gun to make sure that they're safe. Queen Bullet's taking an easier path in the road. Not a lot of things going on towards them.
Yeah, now look at this. Pretty Yaya on the receiving end of some damage from Cambot. Again, Chrome Crossroads definitely a hotspot POI. Starting things off here in heat number 1. As you can see, Pretty Yaya barely avoiding the damage now, as Cambot is going to go down low and try and come up with a better strategy to possibly get an early elimination and get some early points on the board.
Yeah, I respect the aggressiveness, as we've talked about a little bit before. Being aggressive is always good, especially in the early game, but trying to attack with no really reloads or much ammo when you have a white hammer, not going to get much damage done, and it's not exactly the best for as much range as there is between them. So I would definitely try to push if I were Cam, if you want to get that elimination.
Yeah, not only that, but Pretty Yaya not doing so well at the moment. You keep in mind that they were being shot at immediately as soon as they landed by Cambot, so I can't imagine they have a lot in their arsenal, but we get a pretty good lay of the land there, and we can see a lot of these players are spread out, a lot of interesting POIs, to say the least, and one POI that I'm going to be looking out for as the tournament continues to progress is Greasy Grove. Look at that. There's only one player at Greasy so far.
Yeah, which is surprising, right? Because things can get sweaty at Greasy. It's not called Greasy for no reason, but pretty chill so far. It seems that a lot of the main on the battle bus pathways and points of interest have been the places where the gamers have headed to first. We'll see if that changes in later things, as the battle bus seems to shift as well. But right now, they are seeming to be a lot of players right there. And we're going to another situation, Chrome Jam, where we have Matt also in the vicinity of another player playing a little sneaky game.
Oh, yeah. It's only a matter of time before the smoke pops off here. And then, of course, where there's smoke, there's fire. Look at everyone over there at Chrome Jam. Now, that was a POI that we did not see a lot of. Of course, now coming in today is going to be a lot of action going down here. And there's already a loadout, or rather, a supply drop there and waiting at Chrome Jam. So, really, they're just waiting to see who's able to try and peak first and get that early elimination. That's what they're thinking about right now, Bordy. They're all trying to get their early elimination points.
And you know what? Chrome Jam, I wouldn't say is as sweaty as some of the others, like Greasy, like Tilted. It's definitely not in the main pathway, but it can still get really intense in Chrome Jam, as we're seeing there. A lot of good gamers probably thought, not as big as a pool. Maybe it won't get as big, as bad, but right now, a lot of players right there, they haven't engaged yet, but it sure looks like it. It's A-True is right underneath another competitor.
Oh, yeah, Atreyu, just waiting and biding their time. And honestly, I don't blame them here. Whether you like it or not, camping the stairwell, that is meta strat right there. Trying to get a cheeky peek and get some early elimination points. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they do end up pulling that one off. But right now, you can see Yodril Tinchi getting a view here on Obey the King, laying down the fire, but was not able to connect with that initial sniper rifle shot. But Yodril already with a massive amount on their loadout. Look at this. They already have one gold weapon and a purple sniper rifle.
And a blue hammer to top that off as well. Only a white suppress, but other than that, a really good job. You do have those other small pots to really, get you through if you get into any intensive battle. But they are right there on the edge of the map. They're going to have to make their way towards circle. Looks like Yoshiro's pushing. You have A True that's trying to push towards circle right here. And right behind them is somebody that looks like they're rifting ahead too, and not another competitor that might be on their tail. We'll see if they land in their vicinity right now. But A True just trying to make sure that they can go to the edge of the circle. Ooh, Matt's right there behind them. We might get our first scrap off on cam for this grand finale.
Oh yeah, right now you can see A True setting up behind the pool table there, and out goes the bubble shield, and here comes a push coming from A True. They're gonna slide in with the shotty, trying to get the shots down on Matt, but they are receiving a lot of damage, and now you can see A True only one more shot away from getting eliminated, and it's Matt who will officially get their first point on the board.
And I really love that for Matt. Had a clear weapons disadvantage, but it's okay because you do the technique, and he did not sweat the technique at all. Use that shield bubble basically as a protection. Hey, you have to push me if you want to engage. They had the shotgun ready. Hey, they were getting some damage. What they did, they backed out the circle in order to make sure they could still get some more damage in. And at the end of the day, got the final shot that they needed. Smart play by Matt.
Yeah, we'll take a look here. Sketcher Thief now coming in, trying to steal a third party. As you can see, it's Matt now behind the big rig. The monster truck making their way back around, trying to get this rotation out, trying to go for a flank here as the bubble dome does go out. It's Matt now trying to play the low ground, which is going to be tough if we know anything. All the power is in the high ground.
All the powers in the high ground, and also too, protection is your best method of making sure that you're good. I think they wanted that kill. They were really scared about it. Smart play to just push towards the circle. I'm sure this won't be the last time that they meet, but hey, get a breather again. Make sure that you're also not taking damage by the storm.
Now, if this player is not familiar, you have not been with us the entire time. Hey, hold on a second. Only the OGs know Oreo, okay? Qualifier number 1, this was the winning strat. This was the winning meta. And we were even wondering, because you got to keep in mind, back then it was still spooky season. That's how long ago it was. And Oreo, we were questioning, what is this outfit? What are they doing? They're equipping this skin specifically to camouflage with the balloon, so that way they can constantly move from place to place, trying to be as undetectable as possible, and that strat was working for them. But now here in the grand finale, let's see if it works again.
And I love that too. We said it was just kind of like your dream and your nightmares, right? It's just a faceless figure that's just running towards you. And that's exactly what they are, the ultimate ninja. Oreo doing whatever they can in order to make sure they can sneak up on their competition. And talking about sneak, it looks like Key Harris is also trying to sneak some shots in. I think we remember Key Harris as being one of our favorites back when they competed, because they had the technique of a Jedi. Really loved that lightsaber. Not really in the game anymore, so now they're just doing what they can in order to make sure that they can get an advantage. And right now, the snipe game seems to be their best method. And they have Steel and another player also in their sights.
We already know that the force is strong with key carries, but the question is, what can they do on the sticks? How's that gun game, though? As you can see, Oreo already trying to come in with a sneaky peek on key carries now, going down low, going over the rock, and there you have it. The pulse grenade is going to be able to create some distance from Oreo and key carries.
I think that Oreo thought that they could get a little bit of a sneaky, little cheeky move on the competition. Instead, they decided, hey, it looks like they knew that we're going against it, but hey, look at this right here. Steel kind of incidentally, I don't think they know this or not, creating a third-party situation. This would be a great time for Oreo to get and take advantage, and it looks like Oreo just did. Hikaris is on life support, if not already packed out.
I don't know who I feel worse for, Key Carries or Steel, because Steel just got their elimination stolen, and Oreo, oh my goodness, that was dirty. I'm sorry, I'm gonna call it. That was some sneaky dirty plays coming from Oreo, literally losing the initial firefight, having to back off from key carries, and then waiting for someone else to come in, peek, deal damage, and then come back to literally steal the elimination. But hey, if you want to make it to the top, sometimes you've got to get your hands a little dirty.
Never let your opponent know your next move. Hey, you're not even supposed to know your next move. You just sneak up on them and you get the kill and get it done. Unknown draw right now, fighting the storm and also trying to get somebody into their eyesight as well, right next to a player. But right now they're both pushing towards the circle. I think we'll probably see them in the future as well, see what they do. They did hire support. I believe that's Fish Sticks right there, so we'll see what they'll do later on as we get and check on Queen Bullet's speed right now as we have a shoddy fight, and Queen Bullets did not make it.
No, they most certainly did not. It was Astro Mori to come in with their shoddy as well and come in to get the elimination. And now we can see a little bit of the wildlife that we have here in Fortnite going at it. And right now, Astro Mori being able to get their first elimination point on the day, and now has some decent positioning over by Shimmering Shine here. You can see they're literally right on the outside of this ring. So as that storm begins to move even closer in, they could be able to get some eliminations just from gatekeeping this ring.
And I love the shrine. There's so many different methods and pathways and avenues. If you have the visualizer on, you could see that your opponent is close, and I think that's what Matt is seeing right there, but they don't know exactly where they are, and now they do. Deshaun and Matt going at it right now. Astro Morris is also around the corner. It's a third party. I believe Astro got the final bullet, but now you also have to fight against the storm as well. There's a lot of chaos and confusion as these gamers are now colliding.
Yeah, and you see, this is the technique. This is the strat, the gatekeeping right now. All of these players are trying to move in as quickly as they can, and now the goo gun comes out, lands on Astro, not dealing enough damage to even get the shields off, but now the fight has been initiated. Astro Mori now looking to get coverage behind the tree and find out where this goo was coming from.
And that's what I said, right? There's so many different pathways and levels, especially in this new update. Is built vertically instead of horizontally. At first, you would used to see everybody that was basically coming at you, but now there's a lot of confusion about to where your opponent is coming from. Astro probably deciding to push towards his new circle instead of getting some of these eliminations. We'll see if that technique actually works out in their favor.
You see, that was Deshaun with the goo. You see, that's the thing. You really got to watch out for the goo because it could be your best friend or your worst enemy.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's very true.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you. One must beware the goo.
Don't goo the goo, all right? Because you might end up in a sticky situation. You don't want that to happen.
Ooh. Speaking of goo, how about some chrome? We saw this a lot. Okay, and we had some fun with this because there was a particular player with a certain skin, right, with the chrome goo transformation, and we called it a goo jutsu. And they were absolutely using it perfect, but they used it perfectly. They used it like a real ninja. And speaking of, I think that's them right there. Astro Mori has a read, trying to get an elimination on D, as D-Mall will now be eliminated, and Astro gets their second point on the board here in Heat 1.
That's what happens when you don't have the goo jitsu at your disposal. You can't use it as a get out of jail card. Instead, it was a trap card. Ended up getting into a bad situation. It did not make it out alive. As we go and tell that, see where they're doing, and it seems like they're using one of the other strategies we talked about, Cappy, that you could go for eliminations, or you could just play the waiting game and accumulate points like that. It seems like Go Tell That decided, hey, this is a much smarter way of getting to where I need to go.
Well, you can see Deshaun on the receiving end of a lot of damage, trying to make it stick with the goo, but gets eliminated. Astro Mori with their third point on the board, 3 eliminations, and they are having a fantastic game 1.
Fantastic game 1. It seems like we always have the eyes on them as we're seeing in the corner another elimination happen. Bandy out, but these pushes are definitely going to be crucial right now. Astro tried to use it as a healing tactic, but is now getting shot at. So many of these gamers are so close, and it looks like Astro has to run for their life in order to make sure they can heal to make it to another day.
Oh yes, time to GTFO. As you can see now, they are going to be going for the heals yet again. I don't know if they had enough to try and get a full heal, but now it's Oreo trying to make their way in, stealing some supplies on the way, using the shock nade, sends them up high. Oreo now with the high ground, very dangerous for Astro as they go low. Oreo, now here's the footsteps, goes to get the peek. has the shotty out. This is dangerous, but they can't allow Astro to get their shields back here. Slowly but surely making their way around the corner. Gets the ring and gets the elimination. Astro Ori is down, and Oreo gets their 3rd point on the day.
And I want to see the difference in supplies, because there was some purple, there was some gold, I believe a gold hammer, some purple this, a purple that, some blue that, but it didn't matter. Using that prime to the best advantage, getting a headshot off of it too. Oreo living up to that ninja status we talked about. They don't even need the goo, they just have the power of camouflage, stealth, and patience.
Oh yeah, keep your eyes on that yellow suit. You know, that might become meta before you know it, as you can see now. It is Justlo. For those that might remember from our qualifiers, Justlo is an absolute menace to the society of Fortnite. They have managed to get probably the most eliminations, I think, out of all the qualifiers. This right here is one of the most dangerous players that we have here in this tournament.
One of the most dangerous players. Watch out for them. Oreo, you know, actually won our first set of qualifiers, but Justlo probably up there as well when it comes to the best of the best in this Fortnite tournament. Only 3 so far, but knowing them, they're on a rampage. They're going to get a lot more as we see them finally getting to the edge of the circle, but run into Neon. We're about to get into a little fight situation.
Oh, look how cheeky this is. They're literally fighting in the car. You can't get any action better than this. They're switching seats. They're trying to find a way to get the elimination. And you can see that they are constantly going back and forth, fighting inside of the vehicle. Now you can see Justlo on the edge of the ring, now has control of the vehicle, but is now taking damage from the storm.
Oh no, road trip memories unlocked with me and my siblings. Oh my gosh, flashbacks are happening as we see. Flashbacks are also happening for Justlo as they try to get more eliminations, are trying to get to Neon. Only a little bit of health left. All they need is a headshot in the windshield, and that's exactly what they do. As I said, flashback season for Justlo. The eliminations are coming down like the rain, and they're pouring in.
You gotta clip that. You cannot not clip that. That was probably one of the coolest Fortnite fights I think I've ever seen. Like, that felt like it was out of an action movie. Like, they are literally fighting inside of the vehicle, switching seats. One's the driver, the other's a passenger, constantly going back and forth. And then jumping out of the vehicle, getting the shot through the windshield. I told you already, Justlo is just different.
Where's Tom Cruise when you need him, right? And I feel like all we need, Nora, is just like a Tom Cruise just running around and just running for like half of everything. And there you go. That's our movie. That's our Fortnite movie. Bragg House going ahead and sponsoring, or kind of actually being the production team, the pre-production team for the next Mission Impossible. As we see Oreo trying to do the impossible, win against another excellent competitor in Justlo. And now we see these juggernauts get at least into each other's sights. We'll see if they engage soon or later, but it's gonna happen soon.
Yeah, now we can see Wixu with one of our, I guess, one of our favorite gliders there. I'm not sure what to call it, but it's definitely one of the fun ones to see. As you can see, Drea's daddy now flipping their vehicle back up and to the right, trying to get around this hill here while avoiding the storm, making themselves ever so closer to Pretty Yaya. Pretty Yaya, we haven't seen much on the elimination side, but they are definitely a strong survivor here. They managed to find their way into this final fight here against Drea's daddy as the numbers continue to dwindle, and we are coming down to our final survivors.
Oh yes, and we see several players trying to make a push. I think Dre's daddy was actually going to make a push, but then saw Oreo make a push as well. Pretty Yaya going to a battle right now with Oreo, as Oreo just decides, hey, I don't want that smoke either, but then runs into the smoke of Justlo. Probably some more smoke you don't want either, or else you'll get into an action sequence. Right now, these players kind of engaging, kind of getting into it, kind of not. They're playing hokey pokey in this last little bit of action.
Yeah, speaking of, I don't know if Oreo knows that Wixu is literally right down below. Looks to get the headshot and gets the elimination. It does not get much better than that. One bullet right to the dome piece will be the first point on the board for Wixu.
And what a play it was on one of the players that we said were one of the top of this game. It was none other than Oreo, unfortunately trying to push, didn't know that somebody else was in the bush. We talked about these bush tactics, but right now these gamers are absolutely utilizing it because it's all the cover that they have.
And now you can see they're also trying to use the shot nade, but it will be the goo to get the elimination for Just Low, as now they get a read on Whisku, who is going up high, tries to go down low, will get the elimination and the victory royale for Wixu.
And look at that, an awesome play at the end of the game. They didn't get their points and their elimination points, I should say, until towards the end of the battles, but eventually they did, and when they did, they came at it, knocking off two of the juggernauts that we saw before, two winners of these qualifiers, first place winners too, but now it's time to get back to these highlights to see what everyone else has done, because when you have all these gamers here, a lot of excitement happens.
Yeah, and now you can see that, how the competition has really progressed all the way from the qualifiers to today, that a lot of the elimination points are now being more spread out. It used to be really concentrated to the top 5, but now you're seeing everyone getting in on the mix for these eliminations. And this one right here, Aureu, coming through with that elimination. That was a fantastic assassination coming from Oreo, but Just Low, this is the monster. This is the juggernaut you have got to watch out for. They finished second, but their elimination points that they managed to get might just give them the first place so far.
I was definitely going to make that note as well, so it's me and Kat being on the same page. Unfortunately, it didn't seem like Wixu had those eliminations, so because of that, Just Low getting those points in just might be over there and might just be the leader of this first heat, but there are plenty more heats to go, guys, as we're about to throw it into intermission. Cap, you love this action so far, right?
Oh, I absolutely do, and this is what I came to see, the elimination play. I don't want to see it all go down finally at the bitter end. No, I want to see the cross-map shots, the sniper battles. I want to see the 1v1s, shotguns to the face. I want to see it all. And so far, Bordy, we're getting a nice little introduction, getting our feet wet here after heat number 1.
Yes, dipping our toe in the water just a little bit. It's tepid. Oh, I see it. But we're about to get sure and make sure that these seats are on fire pretty soon. Guys, we're going to throw into mission when we come back. More Fortnite action. It's Bordy McBoard. It's Captain Atsoka here. And we will see you on the other side.
Yeah, I think I like it. Yeah. Ooh.
Great.
That was good.
Good job.
You've been practicing. Told her I wasn't gonna do it.
Here you go, ladies. I got one Sprite and one High C.
Thanks, but we didn't order these.
Compliments to the gentleman.
Thank you. His mom raised him right.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. like I do right now. Don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. But you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna try, but you never
whatever. All this ever but you long gone, it don't matter. Ride or die, that's been the deal. The light of your back, I disappear. But if it's
We are back at it again, and I'm super excited because all of the Fortnite action that we literally just saw before, now we're going to see even more Fortnite action. And well, before we get to that, actually, let's discuss what just happened because we saw a lot of action just so far. Cap, a lot of players in the mix, and that just means a lot of excitement, especially since we're getting the best of the best, the cream of the crop. It's chaos, but I love it.
Oh yeah, who doesn't like some good chaos? You see me do the evil villain pose just now. This little maneuver. This is when you got something devious in the works, and actually, this is actually pretty interesting. I want to remind the folks at home watching right now the way this is going. We have seen all the heats up until this point. We've seen all the qualifiers, and normally we bring you the leaderboard saying, "Oh, who's making their way through?" Well, guess what? Not today. You're gonna have to wait for the Celebration Bowl on the 17th to find out who our winners will be. So at this point, we really don't know who is in first, second, third, fourth, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. We're going to have to wait for the Celebration Bowl. So at this point, it could be anyone, Bordy.
It could be anyone. We do have a top 10, though, and that top 10 would be getting that bundle of prizes that we talked about earlier in the competition. But, we have all these 5 heats that are going on, and I don't know about you. It's starting to warm up, but I feel a little uncomfortable, right? I got to open up the window, get some cold air in, and what's going to cool down our segment is a little bit of an interview with the winner of the last heat, and that's none other than Wizu. We'll figure out in the interview, but right now we're throwing it to them so you can figure out a little bit more about this amazing HBCU Fortnite talent. How are you doing, Wizu? How do I pronounce your name? That's I guess the first portion.
How you doing? So it's Wizu.
Wizu.
Can you hear me?
Wizu.
Oh, okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
yes, we can. Okay, Wizu. Well, you won the first part of the heat, but again, there's still a lot more action to go on. Can you tell us a little bit about what your name is and what school you're coming from?
So my name is Ricardo Alvarez, and I come from Florida Memorial University in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm a little nervous. I'm still a little nervous going into these games. It's kind of shaking. So it's just trying my best.
See, you said you're shaking, but the gameplay was anything but it, all right? Because, you didn't get all the eliminations of the world, but you got the 2 that mattered. And they were winners of the last couple heats that we had in the qualifiers that you have. So how do you feel about doing that and knocking off some of the top dogs in our competition that we've seen so far?
Well, I guess I got lucky with the timing there. Kind of got like a lucky snipe on, I think it was Oreo, like kind of like behind him. So I don't think he saw me coming. Not opening that crate, and so I don't know. I think that's kind of like what kind of got me that game there. Because if he would have known I was there, I probably would have is in a bad situation. Probably wouldn't have lasted longer than that. So, but I'm glad it worked
better
out,
than
so.
anybody. You know better than anybody. I know it too. I play a lot of Fortnite. Sometimes you're in the right place at the right time and good things happen because of that.
Exactly.
You were, and that's why you're moving on. Do you have what does the scholarship money mean to you? If you were to win and if you were to be one of the top winners, how can it make a difference in your life?
It'd make a big difference. Actually, it would cover like the rest of my tuition for the second semester.
That's beautiful.
And it would actually help out like my family a lot because like right now like they have to work a lot so that they can pay for it. So kind of like kind of riding on this. But if I win it, I win it. If I don't, I don't.
If you win it, you win it. Okay, I'm hoping that it works out for you. Anybody, real quick, do you want to give a shout out to before we throw it back into the gameplay?
No shout outs right now.
No shout outs right now.
If I win it, I'll shout someone out.
All right, he's hoping for that Celebration Bowl shout out. I see. All right, so it's Wizu, right?
Yes.
All right. All
Wizzy.
right, we will see more of Wizu later on. We're going to throw it back to me and Cap so we could get this next game started ongoing. Thank you so much, Wizu.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, loading it on in. We're already starting fast paced with the action because the action never starts as we see Platinum Hits get their loot on. I mean, didn't you love that so much, that interview, Cap? It was really nice, one, to know what Wizu's name is. It is Wizu, we got that confirmed. But then also what it means to them as well. Getting your tuition paid for that semester especially, what a difference.
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, my favorite part about the interviews is that we actually get to ask them the correct pronunciation of their names. I was calling that player Wixu for the longest, but it's Wizu, and thank you. Now I am all the wiser, knowing how to correctly say this player's name. And if they keep playing like they did there in game number 1, we might be saying their name even more often as we get game number 2 well and underway.
We can be wizards at getting these names right? Hopefully later on we'll get to know more of these players and we can really get to understand what their names and how to pronounce their names are. Right now, I don't think we need a lot of trouble pronouncing ZMBG Beams right here as they get their slurp on, trying to make sure they can get their shield up and going right now at 90, trying to get more as we see right now. Oh, pretty okay. We have a prime, we have a green hammer as well, and also to a legendary. Look at that. Legendary suppressed. Suppressed, not as big as a fan, but some people can really make that thing fly. We'll see how well it works out for them later on.
Now, you see, with that particular weapon, you know, it's not as good as the suppressed. It's actually a little bit more of a wildfire. And, you know, that weapon really does.
I apologize.
Yeah, it really does more damage at that close range. Like, it can actually go toe-to-toe with a shotty, believe it or not, if you play your cards right. So, again, I don't like it as much as the suppressed, but I'd rather have it than not, to be honest.
Yeah. I'd rather have it than not. You know, I am a fan of the SMGs that we just got rid of the other season, right? I like those a little bit more than that rapid fire, but it's a-okay. You know, different strokes for different folks. You know, whatever you can use in order to make sure you eliminate as many of your opponents as possible, as we saw Sia Sean by the Lustrous Lagoon. As we go and see what these other gamers are doing right now, not a lot of eliminations right now. We got some people in Tilt. We have one person at Greasy. A lot of people are spread out there. Some players by Rave Cave and by that top of the mountain, by the edge of the circle. So that'll be interesting to see what'll be happening. But right now, players a little bit more spread out in every single point of interest, it seems.
Yeah, at least so far. I did see a little bit more of a concentration up north. Again, over towards the shiny sound, and of course Chrome Jam. We saw Chrome Jam be a real popular POI there in game number 1. So there are a good amount of people there. And once you start going south, they're more spread out. They're more abound. And honestly, I like the way that we're seeing the storm finish so far, because it looks like it's heading more towards that southwest, towards that Greasy Grove finish. And that is going to be absolutely insane if that is where it ends up going. But for the time being, we're still trying to get a lay of the land and get an exact read of how this one will shape up, as now we can see Moonjumper literally jumping over to try and find their first elimination on the day.
Don't we love that when the players' names match their game? There right now we saw jumping out of the gym, jumping to the other side of Shiny, which is probably good. They're right by another competitor. We might see our first little bit of action if they can only just get up on to that little ledge and get this thing started with the action.
And look, it's Beams up here, and they finally get the read. Moonjumper has to go goo form in order to avoid the damage. They go down low, and now they're going to have to go back all the way down to the ground level, trying to find a way to get out of dodge, and they will. And it looks as though Beams still might be up on top and still trying to hold on to that high ground.
Yeah, trying to hold on to that high ground, had an opportunity to engage. It didn't quite line up here. So we see some players kind of engaging by Shiny Sound, and it looks like somebody just got eliminated. Not sure who it was, but it looks like ZMBG Beams finally got their first elimination. I'm wondering if it's a player that we just saw before, as we're seeing a lot of chaos happen. Been quiet earlier on. It looks like we also have some interesting action going on in Twisted right now. As we see, go back to Cambroski and see what they're doing right by Graybles.
Now, you see, this is actually one of my favorite POIs, just because
Interesting.
it gives me the spooky vibes, and I love the spooky vibes. Also, there's multi-levels to this POI. You think it's just the house, but no, there's actually a bunch underneath it. There's a bunch around it. You got the farmstead. There's really a lot to it, and because it's not so concentrated, it's not really a hot spot, you get all that loot to yourself, and then, of course, there's a lot of things that you can deconstruct to get your materials. So, again, I think it's a great starting POI. It's not going to give you the most advantageous rewards, but it's enough to get you a solid start.
Okay, a little bit of the mind behind Cap, all right? Kind of a medium drop type player, I'm assuming, Cap. You want a little bit of smoke, but not a lot, you know?
Oh yeah, the way it is that you start off small but finish strong. That's the idea behind it.
Okay. Well, I play with a lot of players who are just all about kills and eliminations. So, unfortunately, sometimes I do go out into the wilderness, go out, but I go to Logjam a lot, and my goodness, it's kind of sweaty, just along with greasy as well. But as you see right here, it looks like Grim Grables, as you said, not as quiet as it used to be. It seems like there's a lot of action popping off right there as you see Cam Rosie getting shot at right now and also fighting the storm. It doesn't look like they'll make it or survive, and guess what? They don't.
And I think that was Beams getting in on the mix as they have their first 2 eliminations here in Game 2, as now they are trying to make their way back into the safe graces of the ring here. But, it's only Storm number 1. They're going to be able to eat this damage, no problem. But can they eat the damage from Wavy up on high if they get the read on them? But they managed to find their way into the truck, or as I like to call it, the mobile fortress, as they are trying right now to get a lay of the land and figure out where these players are, as Wavy now is going to a jettison from atop the balloon.
We saw somebody coming up from up high. I'm surprised it wasn't Oreo, because that's what Oreo's strategy has seemed to be. Really camouflage on the balloon and get something up top. You saw Obsidian is also back into the lobby as they got eliminated by a player. We can't quite see Queen waiting it out like we saw them before, playing the slow game, trying to get their points that way. We'll see how much it works for them as we go around. By Chrome Crossroads, we see a lot of players fighting over that loot crate right here, and we see some of the action by that. Justlo is around there, Beams is around there, Deshaun is around there. We see action popping up around here. Deshaun using the truck as cover, uses the shield also as cover. It looks like they're gonna start to have some engagement, but smart play attaching it to the truck so you can have your own mobile fortress, as you said before, Cap.
Oh yeah, it was already a mobile fortress. Now it's just extra fortified. Using the bubble shield on the truck, that is an absolutely cheeky play. Good heads-up play coming from Justlo. And keep in mind that Justlo was top fragging there in game number 1, looking to keep the trend alive here in game number 2, as now we make our way over to King Son God, who is making their way over towards Tree. Not any eliminations yet, but they are still looking to get there first, so that way they can get a point on the board.
And it looks like they're in the vicinity of Astro, but Astro looks to be in the caves of reality, so it doesn't look like their paths will cross just quite yet. I wonder if because they're around reality, and reality does seem to have a lot of good equipment, if they decide to venture off into the caves as well, they might end up running into some trouble. Right now, getting back their shield, a smart strategy, because it's about to get dangerous as the circle closes. It's about to be the 3rd round of circle closure. Yeah, that's where things get a bit tense. Wizoo, 2 eliminations. A little bit of their health being taken away, but not too much to be a bother. Wonder if they might go into a food crate, get some cabbage or something like that. We will see.
And like you were saying, with ring number 3 getting ready to make its way in with that 3rd round of storms, that's where things get a little spicy. That's where you want to avoid the danger. We've already seen them try and go and fight inside of the storm during round 1 and round 2. You could do that. You could do that in round number 1 and 2, but it's really in round number 3 and 4 where the storm really starts to make a bigger difference.
Oh yeah, a big big difference, as you see right here. Just Slow had their eyes set on Steel, and it looks like they're pushing closer. But we also have Beams and Deshaun around this area as well. We're about to get an all-out brawl at this moment, as you see Deshaun already trying to make waves at Beams, as we see Steel and Just Slow in their fortresses of their own. Oh my goodness, these players are going right at it, and Beams doesn't look like they have much health left. Will Just Slow kind of save them by Deshaun beating them? No, Deshaun gets that kill from Beams, and Just Slow trying to go after the people who are left.
Yeah, and look at this, being able to land at least one shot with the shotty, trying to trade out to the sub, but unfortunately has to back off, take off in the vehicle. And honestly, this is pretty much the meta when it comes to no-build Fortnite, is getting inside of these vehicles, using them as these mobile fortresses, and using that as an extra layer of defense to try and get a maneuvering around your opponent to get an elimination. But with that being said, you know, the way around this meta, and you know I would love to say it, is the goo gun. The goo gun makes quick work of all these vehicles, and now Just Slow able to make quick work of Deshaun and get that elimination, making it 2 for them here in game 2.
Anything you could do, I could do better. As you see right now, Just Slow getting shots from what could be the Cobra across the way. We'll go back to the winner of the last heat, Waizu, right now hiding out in the caves, waiting out for things to happen. We talked about multi-levels being a thing. There's multi-levels by where the circle is closing. That would make things quite interesting. As you see Greasy right now, a point of interest. Just Slow getting shot at on their fortress. Steel right around the corner. I don't know if they saw that or if they saw, yeah, I see Steel, but I would prefer to push the circle, especially while they only have 22 health left for this vehicle. Oh, it's about to be a wrap.
Yep, that's about it. You're not going to get much more out of that truck than that. Unfortunately, your truck has a flat. So they're going to have to go and find another way to make their way inside. Don't you hate that exit? It's terrible. I'm sorry, but I had to do it. I can't see the big rig go down. No, it honestly, it left a bad taste in my mouth. But regardless, Wizoo.
The only thing that left a bad taste in my mouth is that brought back horrors and flashbacks of how much money I had to pay to get my car repaired, okay? Excellent access, excellent scrimmage going on right here. Waizu waiting for the action to play out on top, as you have a lot of good favorites are right there. Yaya around the corner, Oreo going out there. Waizu just being wise and letting that play out, not getting involved until they absolutely need to.
Well, let's see, because now you see players are starting to get a little bit more cautious. They're putting a lot of respect on a lot of these other players, and you know, they're not going out willy-nilly and giving away eliminations for free. You can see Drea's daddy, again, playing the slow game here and going with the Bush tactics. My #1 favorite meta in Fortnite, by the way, taking it back to Season 1 meta, the Bush tactics, and old reliable. And look at this, you can see Hybrid, of course, applying the same Bush tactics here. But at the end of the day, it's the offense that is going to give you the dub. You cannot stay hidden forever.
And he could tell that these players are thinking about that $15,000 on the line. Oreo looked like they were going to get into it with Yaya. Smart play to just dash away. They have plenty of chuggies, and that's perfect because Yaya looks like they're going in for the kill, just trying to make sure that they get an eye on Oreo. But they ran into some problems of their own, getting third party right here. Oreo might be another benefactor of a third party, or hey, they actually might end up getting the tail end of it like we saw in the last match. We'll find out as things pan out.
It's crazy that we're just now getting over to Oreo and we see that they had 4 eliminations on the board. So once again, Oreo trying to make their claim here in those top spots, trying to find their way to the Celebration Bowl. As you can see, Pretty Yaya has 2 on the board and now gets a read on Just Slow. Just Slow, the top fragger from game #1, gets a read, goes for the peek, doesn't get much damage there, and Just Slow playing a good bit of ring around the rosy, trying to avoid Pretty Yaya and doing a good job of it so far.
Will they all fall down to the elimination? Pretty Yaya looked like they had an error going on. I'm not sure with their input lag or whatever. They had no chance of fighting back, as it looked like technology didn't end up working out. And that's a pretty bad elimination for them. Just Slow being the benefactor of, like I said before, right place, right time.
Yeah, that was a feels bad, and I feel like, unfortunately, there for Pretty Yaya, they just had to unplug and plug back in, and then they got caught unplugged. It's a feels bad, but it's a feels good for Justlo, as they do get that elimination, and now Dre is dead. He's stuck between the storm and a rock and a hard place, as they have to use the shockwave nade to try and get out, but then they shockwave themselves into the storm. Oh, no. But it looks like there was at least one elimination on the side there. I don't know if they got the credit, though.
Yeah, one elimination, but they're in a bad storm right now. It's Storm 4, so that means they're more tick. Unfortunately, couldn't get the angle right with those shockwaves. Got the first one right, didn't get that second, and definitely didn't get that third one. As we see Oreo right here playing with Skechers. Skechers also has to work against the storm, and I think it was the storm that packed them out, not the final shot. Oreo using their positioning as their advantage, but right now, Justlo also around the corner. Oreo knows it. Two juggernauts going against each other. Will they play hokey pokey with the chromium walls? No, Oreo says, I'll live to fight another day. My 5 eliminations will do it for me as I wait this thing out.
I gotta tell you, that was absolutely cheeky. You saw how Oreo kind of got like phased through the wall there? If Justlo had been peeking, that would have been the end of Oreo, and it's random. You could hardly ever tell when you're just gonna get melded into the wall. But now you can see Astro trying to get a read on Justlo, but the way Justlo has been able to navigate a lot of these corners, they are an expert at fighting indoors.
Fighting indoors, and you have to remember that you have those walls too, so you can play a little bit. You're talking about ring around the rosy, a little bit of hokey pokey, I'm not sure, but go in and out the walls in order to make sure that you can spin your opponent around, and guess what? They may fall down to some of these excellent plays that we're seeing from these players. Dre's daddy also being cheeky as well, hiding this thing on out underneath that bridge to make sure that some of these competitors can get at each other. That's what Justlo just did. Knocked another person, got them out the lobby. Justlo and Oreo now 5 eliminations each. Creme de la creme going at it against each other like we saw just last time.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, again, if I'm capping, say Cap's capping, but I'm pretty sure Justlo and Oreo are the 2 top fraggers here in game number 2. Somewhat similar of game 1, even though Oreo did get eliminated earlier on, Justlo did finish in second with the top frag with around 6 eliminations, now with 5. Oreo keeping up with 5 eliminations as well the last we checked in. Hybrid, however, still struggling to find their first one as they do get picked out by Oreo, now having to go behind the tree and avoid the storm. Look at the line, literally halfway in, halfway out. It does not get much more dangerous than that.
It does not get much more dangerous than that. I don't think Oreo was going to risk using one of their shockwaves to kind of boop them out like he would, a little Overwatch analogy, Lucio here, but using that grapple to get an advantage, but Oreo saw it coming, and so did somebody else across the way. It's Oreo who still made it do while they were in the air, and right now it's the top fixers at each other. I think it was the storm that ended up getting Oreo because they kind of just disappeared away. I don't know what happened there, Cap.
I think it was Justlo. It happened so quick that we didn't really get to keep up with it, but I'm pretty sure Justlo was able to get that final elimination because it seemed as though Oreo was trying to get the elim on Hybrid, and then Justlo was able to get the elimination on Oreo. It was a tough one, but regardless, that's going to be another dub for Justlo, not only being able to top frag with the most eliminations, but also now with a victory royale on the board.
Their name is Justlo, but their eliminations and their positioning in this grand finale are anything but low. They are getting all the points that they need in order to make sure they're in a good position, if not to be in the Celebration Bowl running, then to be one of our top 10 finalists that get a nice swag bag, as we saw some of those highlights there. Good plays. It looked like that grapple gun technique. If you would have caught Oreo slipping, that would have been a good technique to go and push, but unfortunately Oreo saw it the whole way through, so did Justlo as well did across the corner around the river bend, and that's how we ended up with one fish eats the other fish, but then the other fish eats the other fish, and so at the end of the day it's a dog-eat-dog world, and gosh darn it, that fish just got put on a dish.
Yes, it most certainly did. And now to serve you up with this next dish, it's everyone's favorite. It's the moment that we go to break. So we're going to have to take a quick moment. Let's go to break, and then we will come right back very soon with some more Fortnite action right here at the McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Gamers Fortnite Tournament. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back.
Yeah, I think I like it. Yeah. Ooh. That was good.
Good job.
You've been practicing. I told her I wasn't gonna do it.
Here you go, ladies.
Oh, look.
I got one Sprite and one high C.
Thanks, but we didn't order these.
Compliments to the gentleman.
Thank you. His mom raised him right.
Tell me you're no good. I'm brushing away, do you? The weight of you, of my shoulders. Done with my cigarette. And when all the smoke is clear, I'm brushing away, do you? The weight of you, the weight of you. Don't need a no man. Tell me you're no good. I'm brushing away, do you? The weight of you, of my shoulders. Done with my cigarette. And when all the smoke is clear, I'm brushing away, do you? The weight of you, the weight of you. Don't need a no man.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running low. Ain't no love like a real love, but it goes so fast. All tied up like a captive. I'm to you. Used to pay to my love life, standing on rainbows, playing it cool. I haven't felt this in ages, and I've no more patience. So won't you please stay a bit longer? You're making me stronger, making me stronger. Stay a bit longer. You're making me stronger, making me stronger. You're stronger.
Welcome back to McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Gamers Tournament. I am here, Board McBoard, alongside me, Captain Atsoka, and we just saw two heats. Heated it up, and oh my goodness, we already knew who was going to be good. We have some sneaky, cheeky players that ended up sneaking away, probably to the top of the leaderboards. Again, we won't know until the Celebration Bowl, December 17th. But it's no surprise that some of our favorites are continuing to do well, just like they did in the qualifiers before.
Oh, absolutely. And without a doubt, seeing some familiar faces, seeing some familiar names, and seeing some familiar play styles. I'm looking at you, Oreo. Being able to once again really blend in with those balloons, using the yellow jumpsuit skin. Regardless, we are seeing a lot of tactics being used here today. And again, one of those standout names, I think we have an interview lined up with them. It's none other than Just Low, Bordy.
Just Low. Well, I guess it's up to you and me, or no, you actually, to throw it to your conversation with Just Low. Yes, you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. And we'll see what the interview was like. We'll get into the mind of Just Low. So throwing it to that now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world, we have the top fragger from games number 1 and 2. It is Just Low. Now, off the rip, you know I have to ask you immediately, am I even pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah, you got it right.
We did it!
Instead of a U.
We did it. Just know the casters finally pronounced the name correctly. But regardless, I have literally been paying attention to you since the qualifiers, and I got to just say off the rip, it is an honor to meet you. You are like, honestly, one of the top fraggers in this tournament.
Oh, yeah, appreciate it, man. Came through to do my thing.
Absolutely. Now let's get into the nitty gritty. I got a couple of questions to ask you. Number one, off the rip, how do you prepare? Like, what is the regimen? What is the practice that it takes to get as good as you are on the sticks?
I don't. I don't have a regimen.
Oh, that's just natural born talent then.
Yeah.
Oh, that is crazy. And I got to tell you, congratulations on winning the last heat. Even though you nearly won the first one as well. You came in second and then you came in first. How does it feel to be in the top so often? How does it feel to be in the finals?
I mean, I guess I'm pretty used to it at this point. I don't know. I'm unstoppable, man.
Just Low. For those that didn't know, let me translate gamer for you. Just Low just said, all I do is win. That's pretty much what it comes down to. They're used to winning at this point. But regardless, how about you tell us your name and where do you go to school?
So my name is D'Angelo Edwards. I go to Central State University. I'm a computer science major.
Well, that's perfect. It goes perfectly with your gaming career as well. What does this scholarship money mean to you? How will it make a difference, for your collegiate life?
It makes a big difference. With me being a student and all, I got student loans, so this is gonna help a lot.
Yep. And I got to ask you, was it like a plan to use like gaming and esports to, kind of help fund your way through college? Or is this just, something you picked up and just happened to be amazing at it?
This is literally my first tournament ever. So yeah, I want to try it out and I'm glad I did. I like it. I think this is something I could do long term.
Oh, I was getting ready to say, I think this might just be the starting point for you, to be completely honest. As you go on, I can definitely see you making a name for yourself in Fortnite because so far you are popping off. And, with that being said, the spotlight is yours. Do you have anybody you want to give a shout out to?
My support group. Everybody. They know who they are. My brothers, cousins, everybody that's there watching the stream right now. How y'all doing? Yeah, too many names to list.
All right, and one more time before I let you go, shout out your school again. Let us know where you are representing from right now.
Central State University, big CSU.
Well, there you have it. This has been Just Low, the top fragger from games number 1 and 2, looking to make their spot known at the Celebration Bowl on December 17th. Thank you for joining me on the interview.
All right, appreciate you.
All righty. Well, with that being said, I think it's now about time to throw it back to Board McBoard so we can get ready to head into Game 3.
Oh, yes, and I really enjoyed that. Shout out to CSU. Also trying to figure out, I was in celebration when you're exclaiming, hey, we got a gamer's name right. We got a gamer's name right. This casting job, one of the hardest parts of our job is just reading some of these gamer tags. We did it right, and hopefully we continue to do it right, just like Just Slow is doing it right, getting all the equipment that they needed. I noticed during the interview that, he was like playing around with his controller, pressing the buttons a little bit. I don't know if it was nervous energy or it was anticipation for all the frags that they had been getting and are going to continue to get. But right now, they're loading up their equipment so they can continue to just be a boss like they have. It's very surprising to think that this is their first tournament.
I was getting ready to make that exact point, and I'll be honest, since this is like the early game right now, I'm gonna use this for a moment to get a little heartfelt with what we're doing here with the HBCU Fortnite tournament, is because this is a person that didn't even consider like esports or gaming or collegiate esports for that matter to really pursue, and then all of a sudden they hear about this tournament, they hear about the opportunity, and come to find out they're a natural talent. They even said that they don't have a practice or a training regimen, which I couldn't do. I would have to be on the sticks running drills every day. This is a natural talent for esports, and they would not have known it had it not been for events like this.
Yes, thank you so much again to companies like McDonald's, like Bragg House, like Coca-Cola in order to make sure that these opportunities are possible. I work a lot with HBCUs in the esports space, and a lot of these organizations are just starting. These teams are very small. They don't have quite the proper attention that they needed, and once they do, a lot of these gamers excel and exceed at their expectations of what they thought this esports world could be. And just Loan is an example. There are plenty others. I can't wait until we have more of an integration and more opportunity in this esports space, because there are plenty other gamers I know, just like Just Low, that can really end up being one of the top players, not just in this tournament, but other ones as well. They just need that exposure and that opportunity.
Well, speaking of, we can see Obey the King over here towards the Rave Cave, and it looks as though they may be at least one other player there. It might be Wizu. I couldn't really get a good glimpse, but if it is, that's going to be quite the fight to start things off here in game number 3. As you can see, Obey the King, as far as we know, has this entire place to themselves, and it is Wizu right there on the side, but I can't tell if they're AFK or not. I haven't really seen them move.
Haven't really seen them move. We saw that earlier from Yaya, right? Trying to make sure that their settings were good and in order and in play. And unfortunately, they ended up getting back to the lobby, got eliminated because of that. So Wizu, hopefully in a good place right now. They can't see, the gamers can't see where these other players' names are. This is like we have, fortunately, at GodCam, so we could see it all. We'll see if they end up actually crossing paths. Hopefully in Wizu's place, that does not happen, so they can greater prepare for, the late game push.
Yeah, speaking of, you can see still definitely aware that Unknown Draw is right across the way trying to get a read on them, but isn't going to pull the trigger. They're going to remain undetected for the time being, and instead of trying to get some cheeky shots off, is just going to play the patient game.
The patient game, as we've seen, a lot of gamers have gone to it. We'll see how much it works out in the standings. Again, we have the Celebration Bowl. We have top 10 prize winners. So, hey, you get a lot of money, points by just waiting it out, by being one of the players at the final. But I believe it's those kills that we've seen before that put you over the top. Right now, on top of the movie theater is Unknown Draw, looking at Steel drive around town. I'm not sure what they're doing, but they're going all over the place. And Unknown Draw, I think, is trying to decide, is this fight worth it? They're in the circle. They don't have to move. I think they'll just keep an eye on them before engaging.
Now, you see, that's what I've been waiting to see. For those that don't know, that is the Octane from a very popular Epic Games original, Rocket League. One of my I don't want to say it's my alma mater, but it's definitely where I got my start in esports. So there's a special place in my heart for the Octane, and seeing it here in Fortnite is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I love casting Rocket League. Rocket League, part of some of the games that I started off with when it comes to doing this thing a little bit more big time in the esports space. And you know what? I didn't notice it at first, but now I do, and it's bringing back all the memories. Cap, I'm glad you mentioned that. We can see if they can probably get some goals in and maybe get some aerials going. All right.
Yeah, you're asking what Steel was trying to do, and I can tell you what they're trying to do. They're trying to go supersonic in that Octane, but meanwhile, they have a fight to finish here. As we already know, Unknown Draw is right around the corner, and there you have it. Steel, 24-35, is able to get their first elimination of Game 3.
We went to the map so you didn't see how nasty that elimination was. Steel sneaking up from behind. We talked a little bit about Oreo being a bit of a ninja. That was a ninja move right there. Saw that they were up top, decided to drive around, I guess, to get them to sleep, and eventually got into their prey. Right now, it looks like Justlo is now on the receiving end of being that prey. We see them be the predator right now. They are in a sticky situation as they try to get high ground and figure out who is shooting at them. Smart play by Justlo. Again, he said that there was his first time really being in this tournament, but making a lot of pro moves, and I like that decision to get that high ground.
One thing I will question about Justlo, you go down low to pick a vehicle, there's two in front of you, an Octane and that beat up pickup truck, and you don't take the Octane? What is wrong with you, my dude?
Yes. Must not have played enough Rocket League like us. We were just talking about it before in the production while we were in break about how much we used to be Rocket League sweats. I'm not as sweaty as Cap, because Cap used to be, hey, one of the top players in Rocket League. But hey, we're both a little bit sweaty when it comes to Rocket League. It's probably a little bit of bias on our part, all right? He doesn't know how significant it is to drive in that car.
Hey, I wouldn't say, as a matter of fact, I am nowhere near one of the top, or ever was one of the top players of Rocket League. However, I did get into matches with some of them, but regardless, we're getting back into this match. As you can see, it will be Obey the King trying to get the elimination, and Will onto Trouble, as Trouble ran into a lot of trouble with Obey the King, who was able to get their first elimination here in game number 3. As you can see, Platinum Hits now getting a little bit of the action here on towards the side, and will put an end to the Outcast 18, as now Platinum Hits gets their first point on the board as well.
Blanca getting anything but blocks got their way, and also Platinum Hits. It's ironic, right? How Platinum Hits packed out Outcast is now looking on the other side. Hey, y'all, to that. But look at that. Excellent plays, both back to back. And Platinum now reaping the reward. A lot of good material that Outcast has. And now they have all purple, basically everything, along with that Menmis. That's a good loadout. We'll see how far it carries them later into the game. But that's a great looting session. They have everything that they would probably need for endgame.
That they do, and now we make our way back over to Sketcher Thief, who's looking to get their first elimination on the board here in game number 3. As you can see, that Storm will be moving in. This is round number 2, so you can play around in it a little bit if you want to, but that's only if you're willing to risk it for the biscuit. And now you can see Sketcher Thief putting an end to that rabid dog. I'm sorry, the dog was rabid, had to put it down. Getting a little bit of extra loot for their effort. But you can see, I like the way that this Storm is moving. We're looking like we're going to get a more southeastern finish here over towards Shimmering Shine.
Yes, unfortunately, Old Yeller had to go back out to behind the shed, unfortunately, but it's A-okay as Karis is trying to take Steel out the shell, but Steel going and wants that smoke. It's a battle. Who will win? Right now it's Steel that got shot first, but then got shot back by somebody else. I'm not sure who. It was Shasha of all people. Sia Shah coming back with that Shasha energy pocket sand coming out of nowhere. We love to see that.
Oh yeah, ain't no party like a third party, and now you can see the 4th and 5th party already underway as Sia Shah is able to pick up that elimination, but not without taking some damage. They're going to have to take cover as well. As you can see, you know, we're pulling even further and further to the southeast. As you can see, Justlo now once again finding that mobile fortress, finding the monster truck, finding this vehicle to take it more towards that late game. And now getting a read on not one, but it looks as though 2 players that might be stuck on the storm here.
2 players stuck in the storm. We'll see is only the second storm. I believe it's only 1 tick, if not 2. So not as harmful, especially if you have a med mist spray. If you have a couple of health packs, not as bad. But you gotta watch out for that. Justlo right now tumbling, diving all over the place, just did a barrel roll right now. Justlo trying to find, I believe, the next victim of their excellent gameplay. They've had so many eliminations, only 1 elimination, but it's still early on as we get to this 3rd storm phase of the Fortnite action. And as you said, southwestern finish, eastern finish, I apologize, for these players.
And take a look at this. Obey the King once again taking to the skies, trying to get a read here and gets a decent lay of the land, is able to find 2. We got Killaboo and Astro trying to make their way around. And look at Obey the King. This is the premiere of bush tactics. This is going on top of the bush. This is the tree, the ultimate bush, if you will. And Obey the King right now is definitely on top of the world, trying to get a read on Killaboo, but they've gone under. They're going to have to wait for them to come out the other side.
What is a tree but a bush on stilts, okay? So smart
Facts.
play to get up there onto the top. Cheeky play, and we'll see how. I was gonna say sometimes it's good to be on the tree because you have that high ground. We talked about high ground advantage. However, you can also get into a bit of a kerfuffle because fall damage is a thing as well. Luckily, they have those shock grenades. If they don't end up with the tree bottoming out underneath them, they'll still be in good position and won't receive any of that damage. As you see Justlo right now trying to see where they could do damage. A lot of players buy cloudy condos, but cloudy condos is an interesting location because we talked about the high-low game, a lot of different layers and a lot of different platforms. It's very vertical, which means players could potentially not even see each other even though they're right next to each other.
Now, you see, this is interesting because now we have players that are going to be sticking to the high ground on top of the balloons, and then you have Justlo, who loves staying on the ground, loves playing with the vehicles, and again, being able to try and use that mobile fortress defense in order to get a read and a rotation around a lot of their opponents. But as we've seen time and time again with players like Oreo, they like to stick to the balloons, so it makes me curious as to how that is going to finish with now, as you see the storm constantly moving more towards that southeast and having a lot more of elevation in play. Will Justlo be able to adapt and really take to the skies to get more of these eliminations?
Yes, and they are now caught in the 2-tick storm. No health items on them. Luckily, they have 2. They have the goo and they have the shockwave, so they'll be able to get somewhere close, but we'll see how close it will be. Unfortunately, they have to fight against the storm, and also as soon as they get into it, enemies as well, as it is crowded around here just outside of Cloudy. It looks like we're all up on top of the hills and the mountains. That's going to be our final destination for this exciting Heat 3 of this grand finale.
Yeah, and right now, Neon definitely has the best spot here. That is where you want to be. You want to be on the highest point that you can get to within that circle, but with that being said, there is going to be a lot of challenge for that spot. You know they're going to come in soon to try and lay claim, as once again, we see some players up high on top of the balloon, trying to rain down a little bit of fire there. As you can see, King Sun God. It will now be dealt with by none other than Obey the King. So, as you can see, the battle of the 2 kings has been won, and now here comes Oreo, looking like they are about to make a push onto this POI as well.
Obey the Sun luckily had that med mist spray and also too had that keg, so can prepare and look out for Oreo, who's around the corner. Sketch is also around the corner as well, but is camping out down low, which necessarily, you know, we talk about high ground being important. If the storm closes in on high ground, then it's a precarious situation. They might not have a lot of pathways to get up there onto the high ground, but right now it's pretty nice to just be down low so you're not totally engaged in the action and you can kind of hide out and get your position points up.
Yeah, and right now, Obey the King, once again, with the best possible position. Literally, I don't know if they can go any higher than this, but with that being said, I dare anyone to try and push Obey the King on that zip. As soon as you take the zip, you might as well be taking an elimination. You might as well be taking an L on your way up. But you can see Wizoo, once again, being able to come through with an elimination. They're second here in game number 3, but they're going to be sticking to the ground here rather than taking to the high ground. They're going to be playing, once again, to the good old-fashioned Bush tactics, and so is Queen Bullets.
Queen Bullets, that's a name that we saw a lot in that long 15-game heat situation that we saw in our second, third, and fourth qualifiers. I really appreciated their game, but they've been a little quiet so far. I think sticking more to those bush tactics, like they said, but they are also quite a good fragger eliminator as well. We'll see if they start, to maybe be more aggressive, because I feel like that aggression can make sure that they're in a great spot in location.
I don't know. I feel like Queen Bullets is getting a little numb in the thumbs there. You have got to pull the trigger on that. You got to keep in mind, it's not just about the placement points. You got to get eliminations on the board as well. They're going to have to start pulling the trigger if they're going to make their way up that leaderboard and try and make their way to the Celebration Bowl. Meanwhile, it's Matt. Has 4 here in game number 3. Having a great start. And Mick Lover on top here, trying to rain down the fire on It's Matt. As It's Matt does make their way more in towards the ring and manages to avoid the damage.
All right, I have to be a company woman here, and I have to say, we need to be rooting for McLover to end up being the victor at least one of these heats, okay? It's only perfect. This is sponsored by McDonald's. McLover, you got to come through at least once so we can have a nice ring and play around with it too, me and Cap, when it comes to the puns and the fun here, as we see all these players just being safe, really waiting it out. Again, a lot of money on the line. You've seen a lot more patience, less aggression than we have in the qualifiers, and that only makes sense because there are real consequences at bay, and they want to make sure they're in good position to get that 15.
Speaking of like shameless McDonald's endorsements, does anybody else want to call Oreo McFlurry, or is that just me?
I can use a McFlurry right now.
That's like the... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's like the what? That's like
I was going to say Oreo is like the best McFlurry, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there.
It's definitely the best McFlurry. And you know what? M McLover can also look like M Clover. And remember the Shamrock Shakes going on there too? We appreciated the Shamrock Shakes.
Hey,
so
that's for St. Patty's time. We're not in that season yet.
I'm getting too ahead of myself. I'm sorry. I'm a brand lady, okay? I want to make sure I'm repping McDonald's. But the best Oreo McFluffy milkshake right here, as you see Oreo and McClover trying to get that third party over here. As you have McLover packing out, I believe it was Matt, Oreo cleaning up whatever was left. And now it looks like there are 2 players left. Oreo with the disadvantage when it comes to high ground. Actually, no, it's Go Tell that's actually camping out down low.
This is going to be interesting. This might actually end in a heel off, which I haven't seen yet, but you can see Go Tell does zip their way up, and Oreo trying to lay down that damage early, and no, we will not have a heel off. This is going to be a good old-fashioned 1v1.
We love to see it, but Oreo at the advantage when it comes to health. They have those chuggies, which are so important because not only does it restore shield, it restores health, and it does it quick step and in a hurry, trying to force Go Tell deeper into the storm. I like that. I was saying before, I didn't know if Oreo was going to be that advanced in doing that, but it's trying to do that right there. Luckily, Go Tell still barely in the storm, hiding behind that rock. Pretty soon, I'm sure we're going to see Oreo try to get at that rock because it would be a perfect strategy. No, they're going for it all. Go Tell even with the health and shield disadvantage, and get shot in the face 2 times. It doesn't even matter. Dynamite play by Oreo, and another top player in our qualifiers doing it again.
Absolutely. Oreo has been a player that we have been watching out for since the initial qualifiers, literally qualifier number 1. And they have been making their way all the way here into the finals, being able to take the dub there in game number 3 with 5 eliminations on the board, making themselves definitely one of the top participants here so far today.
making themselves one of the top participants of the day, and we love to see it because a lot of the players that we thought, hey, they're good, but I don't know how they're going to fare against these other players. Well, they're still faring pretty well as you're seeing all the platinum hits going against Outcasts, saying goodbye to that. Those roses don't smell nice at all. Key Carrots getting the blunt end of steals. Excellent play. King, Sun God getting packed up thing, but here we go. It's Oreo right here. And that final heat, as you see right there, getting another elimination and then ending with that other elimination. Oreo, it's just been so consistent and so good. And didn't even use that play that we were seeing before. That tactic of going up into the air balloons has been mostly on the ground for what we've seen from them.
Yeah, and with that last play, you know, the 1v1 trade-off there when I was watching Oreo, as soon as I saw that shotgun placement, literally all bullets hit that entire spread, hitting the dome piece, hitting the headshot. I kind of knew it was over. Like, I didn't want to say it, but yeah, that's one quick way to finish the game off right there, and a perfect read coming from Oreo to secure the dub.
A perfect read. And guess what? We got to read off some of the names of our sponsors. That's none other than Coca-Cola and McDonald's. We're going to throw it to break as we try to get a good read, a good feel on who these next couple of players, the excellent play that we've seen before. We'll see who settles into the top 10 spots in the top 3 because they'll be going to the celebration. We'll get back to you on the other side. Gamers, we'll see you soon. Until then, stay safe.
I wasn't gonna do it.
Here you go, ladies. I got 1 Sprite and 1 High C.
Thanks, but we didn't order these.
Compliments to the gentleman.
Thank you. His mom raised him right. Yeah, I think you like it. Yeah. Ooh. That was good.
Good job.
You did. I have to say.
challenge me. I am stronger than you. Could ever hope to beat you. Don't deceive me. I see first mistakes. Blow away your
I am loving the action that I've seen so far from these gamers. Boyd McBoard, Captain Atsoka, Black and Positively Golden Gamers Tournament. We've seen a lot of good things, and it's been the people, our usual suspects, but also a couple of other surprises sprinkled in. Don't you love this gameplay? With more gamers, there's more action, Cap. And I love that high intensity action because it just makes for that final circle. Oh man, it's so sweaty. It's so great. I love it.
Absolutely, and then we get to see a real blend of play styles and mechanics. Like, for
Mhm.
example, Justlo likes to stick to the ground, likes to stick to the vehicles.
Yep.
It likes to move around and try and get a lot of rotations in. And then you have players like Oreo who like to take to the skies, who like going to the balloons, being able to play from up on high, and again, really use the high ground to their advantage. So being able to see a real clash of different play styles all at once is definitely making this game a little bit more interesting here in the finals.
A clash in play styles, but also a clash between some of our two top, well, our not two, some of our competitors that won some of these qualifiers, and one of them being none other than Oreo. We had, excuse me, an interview with them before, and now it's time to throw with another interview with them, see what changed along the way, and catch back up with Oreo since we last saw them in October. Oreo, how are you doing? There's that familiar face.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
All right, you're doing well, and you're also doing well in the tournament too. More than a couple of late game finishes, and actually the last game, you got a finish at the end. Tell me what the difference is between that first qualifier and right now the grand finale.
Honestly, this qualifier has a lot more competitors, and on top of that, also has a lot more competition. I feel like a lot
Yeah,
of people
yeah.
who are I'm playing against are a lot better, and I had to adjust my play style to that, but I also got to stay confident when I go into those fights.
And tell me a little bit about that play style adjustment because I remember the last time you were up high, you were using that balloon as a camouflage, and that really helped you. You would fly in, you would rift in, and really get them like that, glide in and get the kill. But right now, it seems like you're playing more of a ground game. It's an interesting difference. Tell me about the adjustments that you've made and you've seen personally.
I still use the blimps to like get around, but
Yeah.
now I'm just going straight to the fight. I mean, if I hear or see two people fighting, I mean, that's just an easy third party, so I might as well just go rush into it. But,
Mm.
now with Just Low being in my competition, I had to choose my fights wisely. That man is out there going for fights and everything, so I just gotta make sure I just choose who I go against and stuff like that.
Ah, yeah. So you see Just Low as probably one of your top competitors when it comes to that top spot when it comes to the Celebration Bowl, don't you?
Yeah, most definitely. He's right now, I mean, from what I can calculate, we top two, so I'm going after him. He's my next target.
All right. And I think Oreo, if I were you, I would say, hey, we're top two, but I'm top two and I'm not one. That's what I would say if I were you. All right. Put some swag in your name. All right. Now, Oreo, please tell me what college you go to and also your name as well.
Okay, so my name is Carlos Jaramillo, and I
Mhm.
currently attend North Carolina A&T State University. Go Aggies! So, yeah.
Go Aggies, and I see that. Bulldogs in top, and we'll see your game has been nothing but Aggie right now. In fact, you're giving other people some problems. So we'll see what happens later on. Best of luck to you as we begin to start back up this game. See you on the other side, Oreo.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, the battle bus is loaded on up. These gamers are flying in, and isn't it so nice to check back in with Oreo since the last time that we've seen him, Cap?
It absolutely is. You got to keep in mind that was like literally, I think our very first interview. If not, it was on the first day for sure. So being able to see them again like a month later, that's crazy. And see that they still are putting up the stats. They're still getting the eliminations, and they're still one of the top contenders. So you can tell they definitely put a lot in for the preparation coming into the grand finale.
Practice makes perfect, and you see right there, Oreo admitted themselves it's probably top two competition in his mind about whether or not it's going to be him or it's going to be just low. Of course, there are 3 top prize winners, so we'll see who shuffles in at that 3rd spot as well, or who shuffles in if they decide to shuffle in at the top and 2nd spot at all. Or hey, if your gameplay, just because your gameplay is good doesn't mean that these other players can't just get the best of you on that particular day. McLover trying to attack a player, Obsidian, in the cabin by Reality Tree. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and that's the thing, of course, when we're talking and going back to seeing a lot of these interviews with players like Justlo and Oreo, is seeing how they've had to prepare and really stay in the loop with, this type of tournament. Remember, this is a no-build tournament, and, for the folks at home, if you want to stay in the loop too, be sure to follow at We Are Golden on Instagram for all things McDonald's Black and Positively Golden, and stay in the loop with Golden Gamers. Also, be sure to download the McDonald's app so you can earn points towards free items at participating McDonald's.
If I can get some free fries with those points, my life will be good. So make sure you take advantage of that, just like Moon Jumper took advantage of McLover trying to get some loot, did not end up getting in the loop and did not end up leaving that cabin. Good job by Moon Jumper sneaking up on the competition.
Yeah, and now, once again, we get a little bit of a lay of the land here, and it definitely looks as though that the storm will be pulling towards the west as we go back to Obey the King, who does not have an elimination yet, but still very early on. The first storm has not even moved in, and now it looks as though they should have a lot to loot here, and they should be able to at least get a decent start, but already they are on the move.
They are on the move. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Dolphin diving their way to another location as we see a lot of players by Tainted Towers. So we'll see what happens as you see Kryptonite took some damage, was in a skirmish, but clearly didn't end up finishing it as they have no elimination. Let's just gritty by the fire, right? Chestnut's roasting by an open fire. Let's gritty in on up before Santa Claus comes into town as you see Kryptonite right here trying to make sure that they could go away before they end up being the victim to more damage.
Well, you see, that's what happens. You're dancing around by the fire, and then all of a sudden, guess what? You no longer have any shields left. So you got to be careful, because you never know who's going to be lurking around that corner. It could be Astro Mori, as you can see now. They are trying to get themselves on the board, and now you can see Y2 Cryptex able to jump out of one vehicle and jump right into another one as the chase is on, and they are literally being chased out of Tainted Towers.
Being chased out of Tainters, and right now, we talked about an action movie in the first heat. Well, right now, there's another one going, a car chase scene. Justlo is trying to find his victim right now. Ooh, recovering after being on the side. You know what? I want there to be like a slow motion filter as he it goes to the side and readjusts itself. Tom Cruise, we're literally writing the next Mission Impossible throughout this whole tournament.
Oh, and there goes the goo gun. Remember, I said this earlier. The best way to get this vehicle meta dealt with is by using the goo gun. And now the vehicle nearly being taken out of the commission for Cryptix. As you can see, once again, they're making their way back over towards Astro, who is also riding in a vehicle, trying to get out of Dodge. And somehow, some way, Cryptix manages to escape the danger that is Justlo.
Cryptex, a lot of close calls and close situations, but has been able to keep their job up, keep their parity with them, and make some smart, quick decisions in order to escape away. Right now, Astro completely opposite, quite quiet around them until you hear that gunfire very close by as our production team tries to figure out where that's coming through. You see a lot of players by Tilted, by the gas station, by Shimmering, and right now, Deku is getting decked out. Queen Bullets, we've seen them cause a lot of trouble, I believe, in our third heat in November. Third qualifier, apologize, in November. Very quiet so far in this grand finale, but as we said before, it seems like they're taking a more methodical approach with this money on the line.
Oh, absolutely. You got to make sure that you do get your respected placement points. You want to try and get as many easy points as you can, but at the same time, you can't sit back and get too comfortable when you have players out there that are constantly going on the hunt for elimination. So again, it's a lot of balancing. It's a real balance act between your eliminations and your placement points. And so far, we haven't seen too much coming from them, but now we make our way over to Pretty Yaya, who seems to have a decent loadout. We have seen Pretty Yaya get on the board as far as eliminations are concerned, but we haven't seen them get too high in the placement points. So let's see if they can make some changes here over at Tainted Towers for game number 4.
Yeah, been a lot of mid-level eliminations. We always see them doing things and engaging in things, and it seems like they're a good player. Just hasn't been able to get to that final push. Will they finally change the tides this time around? It's yet to be seen, but we see the winner of the last heat coming and doing their thing. It's so funny how we always see Oreo. We always see him with, let's see, like one green, another green, maybe a blue here, but it's always really just low-level weapons. You just need an AR, you need a prime, and that's all they need in order to make sure that they can get in a good position, which is quite impressive.
It is, and you know, this is something that I've always said and continue to say, the best loot comes off of other players. So if you can get those eliminations in, you're going to be able to get some decent loot, and now you can see Steel trying to make their way over to Oreo, and they will get the elimination. And there you have it, Steel able to take out the winner from game number 3 and getting their first elimination here in game number 4.
Would have been walking away with their victory crown there if it was the normal mode of Fortnite. Steel knocking off the king of the last game, but there are plenty more kings and queens to be mountain here today. Platinum hits right here, waiting out, trying to see what the players are doing. Have some players around them, but not too close. We see Mighty there in the corner. And because they're not at a point of interest, or at least a big point of interest, right now they're just chilling. This farmhouse can get a little bit heated sometimes, but it's mainly quiet.
Quiet for the time being, as you can see now that the storm is actually going to be moving more towards the north here. This is going to be the first time I think we've had a northwest finish. Meanwhile, Hybrid is going to be on the receiving end of a lot of damage. They're going to have to run and avoid the danger. Only 17 health left. Tries to use the grapple to get out of dodge and manages to avoid the danger, at least for the time being. But that was a little bit too close for comfort there.
Running away like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. This is actually a great corner. I was going to say, I wonder if they were headed to the corner by that crate. Hopefully you could probably see some even more health there, replenish whatever health that you need, and live to another day. But Platinum Hits has not forgotten that Hybrid is around the corner. They are waiting for them in the bush. Hybrid is healing up, but we'll see if they're able to get out of this situation, or if Platinum Hits is going to hit them as soon as they come out of their hiding spot.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. They got a pretty good inclination of where they are, but meanwhile, we're going to be getting a better lay of the land here, seeing the way that this storm is going to shape up, and it's going to be heading over towards Rave Cave, but still a lot of open area there, which is only going to really encourage a lot more of these crossfires as we make our way to A-True, who's going to have to make their way in to the safety of the ring as the next storm is, in fact, moving in.
The next storm moving in, and you guys know better than anybody that once the storm closes in, that's where things get intense and players are obsessed about winning. We'll see if or who comes out on top, since we've seen the victor of last heat get knocked out. Hybrid also playing those bush tactics. Like you said, we saw Waizu, who was the winner of the first game, drive by, knock away the bush, but didn't seem to see that Hybrid was around the corner, and that's good for Hybrid because they definitely did not want to be discovered.
Oh no, and honestly, I'm surprised Waizu didn't realize that there was a player there afterward, but at the same time, they probably weren't checking their rear view to get a glimpse of Hybrid here, who is still relying on the bush tactics, and I'm not even mad at it. This is definitely one of the more meta strats, especially in the no build mode, but I really think they should consider themselves lucky that they didn't get spotted by anyone, because there are a couple other players there in that area.
Always check your mirrors, kids. Not only the back mirror, but the side ones as well. They didn't have an opportunity of taking advantage of a player that was trying to hide out with not full heals, not full shield, I should say. As Platinum hits, getting hit right there. Not quite cracked, so still has that armor up, body armor at least. Platinum hits, waiting until somebody comes towards them. Justlo, smart, using that goo gun, cleared out some space. Platinum hits, is in the danger zone right now, and look at that! As soon as you think they might go and leave and have an opportunity to escape, Justlo is on the other side. Who's that looking out the window? Is Justlo getting that kill.
And like I said, sometimes, actually most of the time, it's the other players that have the best loot, and they're able to get that golden hammer, and that is going to definitely play out in the late game. Justlo is very much equipped to handle the rest of this lobby, assuming that they're going to be making it the full way. But now we make our way back over to Queen Bee, who is still within the blue and green loadout. They're going to have to get an upgrade if they're going to want to try and take on the rest of this lobby.
Yeah, we've seen Queen Bee also do some great things as well on the qualifiers that happened. The 15 heat qualifiers did a great job. Right now, iBambi trying to run away like Bambi, has one elimination to their name, but is sandwiched between two parties, had players shooting at them from the other side. But right now, Justlo is barreling towards them in a Corvette. Got something to go down. Justlo finishing it off at perfect accuracy when it comes to that play, using that hammer to perfection.
I was about to say, if they don't go back for that gold lever, I don't really know what they're doing. I just don't know Fortnite then. You're currently holding on to a green one-shotter, which, you know, okay, great, that's wonderful. But a gold lever shotty? I'm sorry, I just couldn't turn my back on that. I couldn't.
See, I couldn't either, but you know, Justlo, I feel like is still trying to play to that, you know, sneak up beside them and then hit them with something hard, right? That's why you saw players like Oreo keep on to a prime, even though it was just like, man, you haven't seen anything better than a prime. I personally do love the lever, but if it can do just one damage in one shot and your aim is true, like Justlo's is, well, then you don't need those extra bullets. You only need one.
Yeah, that's right. And you can see Justlo now gets a read on another potential elimination. Steal, 24-35. Trying to get out of the danger here, is going to go up on high on top of the house. And here comes Justlo pulling up in the big rig. Is going to use the shockwave nade to get themselves on top. Is going to go toe-to-toe with Steal. And they will get the elimination. That is going to be the fourth one here for Justlo in Game 4.
I feel like every time we go and we see what Steel's up to, they end up on a rooftop situation in which they're jumping around trying to get the kill, get the elimination. We've seen it work out successfully for them. We've seen it not, and that's an example of it not. You ran into a force of a player like Justlo, and because of that, now you're sitting in the lobby, but at least you have some pretty decent placement points.
Yeah, and now take a look. It's going to be King Sun God in the Octane, making their way up high, trying to find Reaper. And again, this is quite the awkward scenario. As you can see, the Octane not being able to hit the jump pad, but they should be able to at least get out of dodge here, but they seem to be fixated on that one player.
And you know what? Being fixated on one player, yeah, it can be fun, and yeah, whatever. I want to eliminate the person I saw, but there are other players that you're passing when you're hyper focused on one, and that's how you get into some precarious situations. Hopefully for them, they don't. As we see, Dre is Daddy by King's God, and we also have another player in the corner as well. King Sun God, I apologize. King Sun God using the tree to their advantage. Who will win this one? First shot, Dre is Daddy, got shot again, is almost packed out, able to utilize some of those chuggies to splash away and help them live another day, going and engaging again since they're a little bit more even when it comes to health and shield. And they're getting on land. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was actually a great use of mobility coming out from Dre is Daddy, but now they have their back against It's Matt, and now they're stuck in between three different players. So, I mean, it was a great try, but Dre is Daddy still in a very dangerous situation.
In a very dangerous situation, if Matt has enough bullets, they can knock out the cover as well. Got eliminated. I'm not sure by who. It was Obey the King sniping from halfway across the country and getting that win. That's what happens when you're in a precarious situation, and they ended up not being able to escape. Good maneuvering for one second part, but could not maneuver out after it all.
Yep, and now here comes Wavy trying to get the read on Reaper. Keep in mind, Reaper is the one that we saw Sun King the God try and go for earlier, but Reaper managed to escape. But now they should be able to get a decent read on Wavy. Wavy making their way up here is going to blow the floor right from underneath Reaper, trying to get them back down low. And Reaper taking their time here, trying to get a decent read, but they're both outside the storm. This is not a good situation here, as we are in storm number 5, storm number 4. This one is going to hurt a lot, and you can see that is going to hurt a lot for Reaper, as they will be eliminated. And now if Wavy isn't careful, they will be the next up on the chopping block. It's Matt just picking them off as the storm moves in.
I was going to say Wavy am confirmed, but maybe not certified as Wavy, as Matt made sure, even though it was a good play to make sure, hey, you got shot first. Are you going to fight back? They did, but unfortunately couldn't outmaneuver it. Matt was right there, and hey, it really is unfortunate when you're third-partied, but as we were talking about with Oreo, you have to always push towards those fights, because you could end up getting your opponent with finding your opponent with only a little bit of shield, only a little bit of health, and that's how you can get an easy elimination like Obey the King has 5 already.
Yeah, speaking of eliminations, Justlo has 7. So Justlo still having a great day here in game number 4. Obey the King, though, definitely coming up in a major way. If they keep playing like this, they may find themselves at the Celebration Bowl. Keep in mind, there's only going to be 3 tickets going there, so it's going to go to the top 3 players. As you can see, it's Matt trying to punch their ticket to Atlanta as well. Now, going to be throwing out the Shockwave nade, and they will expose Obey the King out into the open, trying to get this read. As you can see, Justlo there and waiting for this third party.
Waiting for the third party, and it looks like it might pay off right now. They're fighting the storm just a little bit, trying to get their health up. Obey the King also right there as well. Matt, another player that was really good in the qualifier rounds, also doing their job. It's a juggernaut battle. Matt is coming out on top. Who will obey the King? Will it be Matt? No, it will not. Bow before the King of Heat 4. It's Obey coming away with the victory.
Yeah, that they did, and they were able to really use the rotation there to turn the tides of that fight. At first, Obey the King kind of was getting shot on by Matt. Matt had the high ground, they had the better read, and they did not know that Justlo was there and waiting to get the third party. So Matt initially trying to get the read on to Obey the King, and then all of a sudden Justlo inches the fight. Of course, is going to draw the fire away from its Matt, and then there you have it, with the rotation coming in full circle. Obey the King makes their way back in to get the final elimination and get the victory royale with 6 eliminations on the board here in Game 4.
Yes, we had 7 from Justlo, but it was 6 and the victory that might push them at least for only this heat, not total. Again, we'll calculate all the totals and tell you who the winners are on December 17th. Make sure you're tuning into the Celebration Bowl to figure out who is coming out on top. But man, such excitement from these players. It's really heating up. Steel getting into another fight that we've seen them before on the rooftop. This time falling victim, Dre's daddy, after all that maneuvering, ended up not being able to walk away from it all. Confirmed Wavy, but Matt confirmed Wavy-er. And I want to give a shout out to Matt, because Matt has been playing decent this whole tournament and unfortunately didn't get that victory crown, but has still been very solid throughout the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, their gun game is immaculate. I think they do need to improve just a tidbit. And again, far be it from me to criticize anyone, because I am dookie at this game. But just from what I can compare and contrast, take some collegiate educated guesses here and just say that I think their positioning and their rotation could use a little bit of a tune-up, because their gun game and their ability to hit the head clicks is really good. If they can get, kind of both sides of the coin going there, they're going to be a top contender.
The aim is true. The strategy, could get some getting used to, but there is still at least one more heat to go. Bordy McBoard, captain at Soka here. We're enjoying ourselves for this grand finale. We have one more heat left, and I am getting nervous on the edge. We'll throw it to McDonald's to cool us down with some McFlurries or something like that. Stay tuned.
Yeah, I think you like it. Yeah. Ooh. That was good.
Good job.
You did. I told her I wasn't gonna do it.
Here you go, ladies. I got one Sprite and one high C.
Thanks, but we didn't order these.
Compliments to the gentleman.
Thank you. His mom raised him right.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our growlings when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding me up. Play me like a bass guitar, simmer down and mash me up. Tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Me up, drumming round in your red Ford, shivers down my spinal cord. Oh, 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 'cause you got me holding.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. One's a company, two's a crowd, three's a party coming, move around like the first rush when the school is out, when the booze is up, when the sun is down. Enjoy the ride, got some pillows in the Chevy. Slide a dial, laying low, hitting heavy. Take your time, let me know when you're ready. Couple months I've been messing with this steady. Open for plans tonight. Lost in the afterglow. Oh, girl, your love for me keeps calling me, so I'm calling you. Lord, give me life to find. I long for your company. Oh, girl, your love for me is a part of me, my biology. Yeah, it won't be over till the fat lady sings. I owe you a trip, cause me and you, we got a thing. My sunshine state, hair curly like a string. Just a big ol' ooh, smile, that's about all you gotta bring. So enjoy the ride, got some pillows in the Chevy. Slide a dial, laying low, hitting heavy. Take your time, let me know when you're ready. Couple months I've been messing with this steady. Open for plans tonight. Lost in the afterglow. Oh, girl, your love for me keeps calling me, so I'm calling you. Lord, give me life to find. I long for your company. Oh, girl, your love for me is a part of me, my biology. Самолет несет меня, будто в кулаке зажав великан.
That's right, gamers. Welcome back to the Black and Positively Golden Gamers Tournament. Yeah, we're gonna be popping the bubbly to see who the winner is December 17th. That's when the Celebration Bowl is happening. Also, the day before Cap'n, my co-host here, birthday. So you know we're gonna be popping that bubbly. But before we do that, we're gonna be seeing the sparks fly not only in that wonderful, lovely McDonald's Sprite. Like I said, it has a certain je ne sais quoi that makes things so great. But also, too, talk about the sparks that we've seen flying past these gamers and the amazement that we've seen from them, the high level gameplay that we've seen from them. You know, this started a little bit over a month ago with our qualifiers, and we've seen a lot of these gamers grow, and we've seen them now, some of our top competitors, all in one place. And my goodness, I didn't anticipate it be as good as it is, but it is. And man, is it great things to see. A lot of high intensity action from all of these gamers.
Yeah, honestly, and again, just to kind of shed a little light on some of the players that we have been talking about here,
Mhm.
you got to keep in mind that it's not all one-sided. We're constantly, bringing up names over and over again, people that we've seen in the past, but it's all new today, and we have seen that time and time again being displayed within these past four heats. And then Obey the King comes out of nowhere and is able to take the dub there in game number 4, being able to get the win. And now we are getting ready to head into game number 5, the final game of the day, to determine who will be punching their tickets to Atlanta to go to the Celebration Bowl.
And I am going to be celebrating after that. Remember, it's not only the top 3 spots that are on the lookout for that $15,000. And of course, thank you so much to the Thurgood Marshall College Funds for providing that scholarship money for these students. But then also too, you have to look out for the top 10 as well. They all will be receiving a swag bag with some awesome things in it as well. As we see, this player has plenty of swag. It's just low, being one of the top competitors in this tournament. Frankly, I would be surprised. We haven't tallied the totals yet, but I'd be surprised if they weren't one of the top players at the end of this one, because they have been consistently good, not only in eliminations, but also in placement points as well, always at the end.
Absolutely. They have definitely been a top fragger, that is for sure, being able to get some of the most eliminations so far, but we won't know until the Celebration Bowl. So you're going to have to wait and find out, but still, it is anybody's game here in game number 5. Things are still early, so there is still a chance for a lot of these players to try and make their way up the leaderboard and maybe, just maybe, punch their ticket to Atlanta.
And I would love to see that too. All of us getting together as a crew, not only celebrating the Celebration Bowl, celebrating Cap's birthday, but then also celebrating the awesome Fortnite play from these HBCU students. Cam Bot going in and out of the house, throwing back in to get back to a safe spot so they can get full shield, and they need it because they have a lot of gamers all around them, Kryptonite being one of them.
And now we make our way back over to Reaper, who is able to get a good read on beams, but they're not going to be sticking around for much. They are already long and gone in that vehicle, and Reaper going to be taking their time here, not with a lot to work with in their loadout, as now we make our way back over to Killaboo over by Chrome Crossroads.
Over by Chrome Crossroads, and Chrome Crossroads can also be quite the sweaty spot. Not this time though, only one player in their vicinity, so they'll have a little bit of more kickback, low down feel. This player has been anything but kickback. It's Matt, also one of the top competitors. We always see them shuffling, getting things done, but not a victory crown yet to their name. We'll see if they end up coming out on top. Right now, got a blue item, got a keg, that's good, and also got those shockwaves. Seems to be a favorite for the players who are at the end of this game. Let's see if they use them, and use them well later on.
Well, here comes Oreo now, is trying to get a read on Queen Bullets, is able to get one shot off, trying to finish off the elimination, and there you have it. Oreo will get their first on the board here in Game 5.
And a shame from Queen Bullets was excellent in the qualifier round. The grand finale hasn't been quite as excellent as they were the last time. Oreo sending them back to the lobby. We'll see where they tally up at the end of this thing, but right now their day is over. It's a game, it's a set, it's a match, and Oreo is still in it.
Yeah, I feel bad for Queen Bullets there. I think the mistake was made when they landed at Greasy, because if there's anything we know, it's that Greasy Grove belongs to Oreo.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. And I was gonna say, dropping the legendary burst, I don't know about that. Probably feels better about the hammer's accuracy, particularly the blue hammer, a little bit more accurate, I would feel, but I still do love a burst. And as you know, the higher up you go, the more accurate you are. Interesting decision by Just Slow, but hey, I'm not gonna question somebody who seems to be at the top of this Fortnite game.
And they have been doing so far so good. Let's see if they can finish strong here. As now we make our way over to Wisu, who does have a dub on the board today. They haven't been able to get really a lot of eliminations. They are managing to get a healthy amount, but still not in abundance. But with that being said, having one victory royale on the board isn't going to hurt in the overall standings. So again, if they're going to want to try and make their way to the Celebration Bowl, they're going to have to finish strong here in Game 5.
I don't know the math on it. Again, we're not calculating per round like we did before, but you would hope that having at least one victory crown to your name means that you have enough placement points to maybe put you in the top 10. But if I'm these gamers, I wouldn't want to be top 10. Yeah, the swag bag is good, but I want that scholarship money because that's where the big difference is. And right now, big difference in the amount of action that's going around with Just Low has kept quiet early game, but then got in some sticky situations. This time, going straight into the stickiness, moon jumping around the corner, grip tight also there as well. And Just Low, I think, is just trying to get into position to find out where their next victim might be.
Well, it looks like they're right there, nearly being able to T-bone their opponent, but Cryptex was able to avoid the danger and avoid this massive semi-truck. As you can see, they're making their way all the way back to the other side of Tainted Towers. And right now, Just Low just really lurking around, trying to find their next potential elimination.
Yeah, Tainted is hot. But it doesn't seem like these gamers really want to engage. They know that this is the last game. So probably taking their foot off the gas we saw in the qualifier round. And once it got towards the end, these gamers decided to chill out a little bit. Started off heated, then cooled and simmered down now. They probably won't be as aggressive as you've seen before. But, you know, Just Low, they're always going to go for blood.
Yep, that they are. And now you can see Just Low trying to go up on high as you got two players inside that vehicle. As I don't know if they meant to take off together, but at the same time, it could be another one of those vehicle fights that we saw earlier. As you can see, Cryptex once again going to be sticking inside of the vehicle with just over 300 health remaining. So they're going to have to avoid the danger, or at least try and get around this hill to avoid the explosion that is going to come after this vehicle has been dealt with. And now Moonjumper coming through off the top of the hill, laying down even more damage, and there you have it. The vehicle is no more.
Oh man, when a road trip goes wrong, you had your buddy there, were shooting at them and was getting into it. Unfortunately, the road trip didn't work out so good and the car broke down. My goodness, you're gonna have to walk your way out of Dodge instead of driving your way out of it. And right now, trying to get out the hands of defeat. Moonjumper around, Oreo also around. Keep an eye on them as well. As we said in the interview, Oreo does like to push in third party as well. We might have that action happening alongside us. Oh, a third party right there. And can we get a double off the third party? No, we don't. Moonjumper jumping their way out of danger and escaping from Oreo's excellent gameplay.
That was a huge elimination for Moonjumper just now. Reason being, oh, well, easy come, easy go. You're on a roll, and now no mo. There you have it, Vader. Deku able to come in and put it into Moonjumper, but regardless, that's a huge elimination, even if they don't manage to stick around to reap the reward, because they managed to get Oreo out early. Keep in mind, Oreo was having a fantastic day, but was eliminated early in game number 4, and again, eliminated early in game number 5. That could be extremely detrimental for their overall standings. So again, we won't know until December 17th at the Celebration Bowl, but they may not be able to be in contention because of those two back-to-back early eliminations for Oreo, which is going to open up the possibility for a lot more players to try and make their way up and come through on the scoreboard.
Fortnite is good to you, and Fortnite also ain't too good for you. We talked a little bit about it when I was interviewing YSU, all right? Sometimes you have to be in the right place at the right time, and unfortunately, they were not in the right place at the right time back to back. And even though we've seen that they're probably one of the best in the tournament when it comes to their gameplay, unfortunately, it's about these games that are happening right now, and could not get the best position in these two games. It may cost them. Wavy and Just Slow getting themselves into a battle. We'll see what will happen. They're up and down and all over around Wavy. You know, Oreo is out the picture, but that doesn't mean we can't still use those air balloons to fly you to a different place, gliding all over the map and using that animation canceling right there to probably get themselves and propel themselves to a place quicker. Deku and Cambot going at it, and Cambot trying to boot their competitor away, but ends up getting sniped out of nowhere. My goodness, Hybrid with the excellent play. There can be so much damage done with that bolt, and the bolt did its job, getting what should have been a headshot with that amount of excellent play.
And now you can see Hybrid finally getting themselves on the board here in game number 5. It may not be too little too late after all. As you can see, Justlo still with 0 eliminations on the board. Now, that is uncharacteristic of a Justlo. Normally, when you get around to the third, or even the second round, Justlo has several eliminations, but so far, they're still sitting with a goose egg on the board. That's a 0 for Justlo. So right now, they're still on the prowl, trying to get their first elimination of game 5.
And even though this is a golden, black and positively golden gamers tournament, that goose egg is anything but golden. Doesn't help their places in the standings either. But they have been in the last stage of this action so many times before. Maybe it doesn't affect them. Maybe it does. We will see. But just slow, if I were them, I would make sure I at least camp out or am aggressive a little bit more so I can make sure I'm in good position later on. Getting attacked here from behind, not sure from who, actually from up top.
Now, you see, you could say a lot about Justlo. You could say they're top fragging. You could say they stick to the vehicles. They like to use the mobile fortress. But you can't say they're a camper. I have never seen Justlo camp out of any of these games from the qualifiers to the finals. They are constantly on the move.
But maybe it might be smart strategy to camp out. That's what Hybrid thought. They could get a hand on Waizu's camping out, but that camp out situation didn't happen. Instead, they had to mess with the bed bugs underneath the bed, and my goodness, it just it took you away. Do not mess with those monsters under the bed. They get you every single time.
Yep, and its name is Wazoo. As now you can see, we are getting ready to head into the 4th round here as the Storm will continue to move in, and Justlo once again finding themselves the pickup truck, looking still for their first elimination. And now it's Go Tell Dat coming around the corner, also in the pickup truck. As this is an interesting finish right here. It's looking like that the Storm is going to be finishing around Grim Gables, and we have not seen it finish here, I think, the entire tournament from the qualifiers to now.
No, we have not. There are so many different places that the circle could close in Fortnite, and I think Grim would make for some excellent play because, you know, of course, in Fortnite, there's always levels to it, Meek Mill, but that stretch of land isn't as vertical as, you know, this next season has been. A lot of these places have been vertical. A lot of this is more flat than we've seen in this tournament, and I think this should make for some very exciting action as we close out this tournament.
Yeah, and you can see Beams getting a little lucky there. Does find a vehicle, but they don't go for it. That could have been a huge opportunity, is now they're going to have to take cover behind the hill and avoid the Reaper. Remember, you have to fear the Reaper or get eliminated. As you can see, the final circle is making its way in, and now we make our way back over to Deku.
Making our way back to Deku. They're getting attacked. Not sure about from what direction, and it doesn't seem like they know either. Ooh, I think it's McLover there that's trying to get some snipes on them, and very successful. They only have 53 to their name in total, been cracked. So it's really a clincher when it comes for them. Hopefully they can escape and get out because they need it.
Yep, that they do. And now you can see Drea's daddy trying to use the shockwave nade to get the high ground. Obey the King on the receiving end of a little damage there. Sketcher Thief, slowly but surely making their way around the corner, is surrounded at this moment, whether they know it or not. And Neon is going to be taken to the blimp. up on high. We've seen this strategy before as they have a purple sniper to work with, and let's see if they can put it to good use.
Purple sniper, you see some chuggies right there. You wonder if anybody's going to go towards that, because chuggies, as we've seen, have been quite a useful tool for a lot of these gamers. At the end, I feel like they always have either chuggies on them, and they definitely have shockwaves on them in order to make sure that they can get out of dodge if they're in a sticky situation or knock their opponent away. Deku right now in a bit of a sniping fight. We see 2 bullets happening from that way. So 2 gamers over there. Queen around there. And Queen with Waizu again, and Waizu getting it done. The camping strategy has been working out. The gamers have been trying to go into their cabin in the woods, and guess what? That cabin is occupied. Waizu making sure that they don't want any visitors. Do not disturb.
I mean, someone's gonna know. They gotta know. Someone's gonna make the push eventually, but right now, thank you to Bragg House's official rat cam being able to show us Waizu once again making a home here in this shed. But with all of these weapons just sitting right in front of the door, someone's gonna know.
Someone is going to know or be like, that's suspicious. Luther says a house is not a home, and as the circle closes in, maybe they don't make that their home. A permanent residence? Not too smart, as we have these players who are very mobile and very good at getting it done and sneaking up to the competition. Right now, Obey is one of them. As you see Waizu very comfortable trying to peek outside. You don't want to do that when Justlo is right above you. We'll see how well that works as Justlo sees somebody in the bubble there that they need to go after.
As soon as that bubble goes away, that's going to be trouble for It's Matt. Keep in mind, the bubble, I think, is the only thing keeping them away from being destroyed. And now, out goes the goo. But It's Matt was able to use the shockwave nade to get out of dodge. And now it's Wavy also getting it on the mix. But out goes the goo as It's Matt is able to pick up an elimination. And now here in round number 5, Justlo still has yet to get an elimination on the board.
Justlo unable to, which is very funny, but with a good placement, it doesn't even matter if Justlo gets eliminations. We've seen them be at the end so many times before. Matt doing a good job of skirting all the danger before, especially from Justlo at top, trying to do it again, but they're right next to the building where McLover is, and McLover does have that high ground. I don't know if they know that they're around that corner, but they're about to find out, because Justlo is right there too. McLover, 16 health. They gotta work fast. Only 10 in the med miss spray. They can only do so much. 20 with Justlo around the corner. Scary business right here. Risky at that.
And you see, this is why you really have to get out in the early game, because you need to get the shields, you need to get the heals. But, you know, unfortunately, if you stick too close to just one area, you're going to have a finite amount of resources to work with. As you can see, Justlo does have a good bit of heals as their shields are completely depleted after that exchange.
Completely defeated, but look at that. Waizu also getting to a skirmish right there. Matt able to knock them out. Waizu doing a good job of getting some good placement points. We'll see where they'll go, especially since they started off strong and bookended pretty strong as well. McLover only a little bit of health and also does not have access to replenishing it. Will they survive much longer? Who knows, especially with Matt and Justlo still in that thing. Justlo with most of their health. Neon also with a lot of their health as well. Neon falls to the feet of none other than who? Justlo.
Yeah, Justlo finally gets their first elimination on the board with literally the last few amount of players remaining with literally only 1 health. What is this? How? How is there only 1 digit remaining for Justlo?
Didn't I say Fortnite is good to you? Sometimes it's bad. The escapability. Justlo able to find a way out of it, and my goodness, Matt could have had themselves an easy kill. They still could right there. Matt and Justlo going at it. 2 juggernauts. Justlo just trying to make sure they could get their heels up. Matt, push if you can. I think they're waiting it out. That might spell a detriment, as Justlo accidentally knocked themselves out the ring, and Matt, as I said before, eventually they were gonna get on top, and they they did, if only by a user error from the person that we've seen barely make any errors this game or this entire grand finale.
I don't even know if that was an error. Like, that could have been on purpose. Just because I'm not used to seeing Justlo make mistakes like that, that just makes me think, okay, they're cheesing a little bit here. You know, they're just having some fun with it. Maybe I don't know. I really don't. But regardless, that was a GG and a great finish for It's Matt. It's Matt, like we said, has been so consistent throughout the day, throughout the entire tournament. And especially today in the finale, we've always seen them put up a good fight. We've always seen them put up some decent elimination numbers, but we haven't seen them get a victory royale. And now here in game number 5, the last game of the day, It's Matt finally gets the victory royale crown.
Finally gets it. It's been so elusive for them, but will it end up pushing them towards the top 3 spots? Maybe top 10. We're not sure. Again, find out that information in the Celebration Board Bowl December 17th. But if anything, that's a good push. You also have players like Wazoo, Justlo. You have players like Oreo, who got knocked out early on in these last couple games. So we'll see how that affects them as well. It's really a fierce competition, and a lot of these gamers are really good, which makes it so we don't really know who will end up being in those top slots. It's really anyone's after an amazing gameplay from everyone in this pool.
Oh, it most definitely was. And again, it was a real back and forth. We got to see some highlight plays from a lot of players throughout the entire day. And we did have a couple of names that stood out. You've already gone through them. You mentioned them. And these are the ones that we're going to be keeping our eyes on. But if there's anything that we have learned from this scoreboard, is that there are some people who are working off screen that are doing a lot of work too. So again, it's really up in the air for anyone to have an opportunity to punch their ticket to Atlanta, to the Celebration Bowl, and of course get their share of that $15,000 in scholarships. So there is definitely a lot to remain seen as we get done with today and then begin to get ready for December 17th.
Well, we are definitely going to begin to get ready to go through break. Who will be the players that end up advancing and getting able to celebrate the bowl and also celebrate with me, with Cap? Well, we won't find that out till later, but yeah, I will find out what's on the other side of this break. See you guys very shortly.
Yeah, I think I like it. Yeah. Ooh. That was good.
Good job.
You've been practicing. I told her I wasn't gonna do it.
Here you go, ladies. I got 1 Sprite and 1 High C.
Thanks, but we didn't order these.
Compliments to the gentleman.
Thank you. His mom raised him right.
Whatever, or December, but you long gone, it don't matter. Ride or die, that's been the deal. The light of your back, I disappear. But if you don't play that for me, I'm out of it, I'm out of it. I lick my gun and then I'm done. I'm out of it, I'm out of it. No man to tell me you're no good. I'm brushing away to you, the weight of you, of my shoulders. Done with my cigarette, and when all the smoke is clear, I'm brushing away to you, the weight of you, the weight of you. Don't need a no man. Tell me you're no good. I'm brushing away to you, the weight of you, of my shoulders. Done with my cigarette, and when all the smoke is clear, I'm brushing away to you, the weight of you, the weight of you. Don't need a no man.
Back at it again, guys, and we are coming to a close, but not quite yet. Board captain at Soka here. We just saw the last of the Heat action when it comes to our grand finale here at the Black and Positively Golden Gamers tournament. But it doesn't mean that we're over yet. But before we get to even that and a pre-wrapping up to the wrapping up, I just want to say it was excellent to see all of this action. A lot of these gamers are good, and it was nice to see some of the familiar faces that we expected to see. The top players continue to be at the top of their game.
Oh, absolutely. We got to see a tremendous amount of players show out today. Of course, we got to see Just Low, Oreo, Obey the King, It's Matt, and more. But we do have some other players that stood out as well. We will be interviewing some of the queens from this Black and Positively Golden Gamers tournament. Up first, it's going to be Queen Bullets. Well, hello. Thank you for joining me on the desk, Queen Bullets.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Oh, you already know us on the desk. We're cutting it up. We're having a fantastic time. But how are you? You've been cutting it up on the sticks. What's going on? How does it feel to be in the finals?
Oh man, it feels great. I'm just happy to be a part of such a big event. Do my thing a little bit on Fortnite, but yeah, I was just really happy to be a part of the event.
Well, we were happy to cast you. Again, we got to see some great highlights from you. And again, we've been watching you, cheering you on. Of course, I'm sure you got some fans in chat as well that have been rooting for you since the qualifiers. But I got to ask, we know you as Queen Bullets. What is your real name? What do you go by?
My name is Aubrey.
Oh, well, that's lovely. I got to tell you, that is a beautiful name. A lot better than mine. But regardless, also, I want to ask, where are you currently going to school? What university are you repping? And what is your degree?
I am repping none other than the Texas Southern University, and I am majoring in health information management.
Oh, well, there we go. You're not too far from me. I'm in New Orleans myself over here in Louisiana. We right next door to one another. So, oh, yeah, we're neighbors. But also, I got to ask, is this your first Fortnite tournament? Is this like, kind of like the introduction for you in esports?
This is my first official esports tournament for sure. I really just play for fun. But yes, this is my first Fortnite tournament.
Well, let me ask you, as a player who plays for fun, is this tournament fun? Did you have a good time? And could this be the beginning of more for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. It was by far the most fun thing I've ever did in my life. And yes, this is definitely the beginning. Hoping that I can compete in more of y'all's tournaments, more Fortnite tournaments in general. So yeah, it's just beginning.
All right. Well, the spotlight has been shining on my bald head for so long. It's, casting a glare. So for right now, let's put the spotlight on you. Is there anybody you want to shout out? The stage is yours. What do you have got to say to everybody watching at home?
I want to shout out to my parents, shout out to my whole esports team back at TSU, shout out to all of y'all, shout out to all my e-board members. Y'all hold it down.
Well, I got to tell you, it has been an absolute pleasure being able to, cast your gameplay. Again, we've been watching you since the qualifiers. It's been great having you on the desk with me. Thank you so much. And I got to tell you, I like the energy. I like the smiles. That type of energy is contagious. So keep it up as you continue your
Thank
newly
you.
founded esports career. I could definitely see you in more tournaments in the future.
Thank you.
Well, you are surely welcome. And once again, thank you for participating. And we will be sure to get you one of those swag bags as well. But that is going to wrap things up for Queen Bullets and myself. We are going to cut to a short break. And when we come back, we will have yet another one of the queens of the Black and Positively Golden Gamers tournament featuring Fortnite right after this.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear, driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear, like an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Run
back at it again like we never left, guys. It is approaching towards the end, Black Positively Golden Gamers tournament, but we still have some more people to interview. And you teased it yourself, Cap. We're going to talk to some queens, and it looks like we're going to continue to talk to some queens here for this tournament.
It most definitely does. We just had the pleasure of being able to be graced by Her Majesty Queen Bullets. But now let's take an interview with Queen B, who we have seen time and time again throughout this tournament. Well, hello, Queen B. Welcome to the desk, Your Majesty. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Hello.
Well, off the rip, how does it feel? You made it all the way to the finals, and now you are here on the desk with me. Thank you again. And how does it feel now that it's all said and done?
It was just like an amazing experience. It was very fun.
Well, I'm glad. And again, being able to come through and play with some of the best Fortnite players in the collegiate scene and then making it this far, we've definitely got a chance to see you a lot. You were getting a lot of eliminations throughout the qualifiers, and then you were putting up a fight here towards the grand finale as well. Who do you think were your top competitors throughout this entire endeavor?
Definitely Pretty Yaya and Just Love.
Yeah, those are definitely a couple of standout players throughout the highlights as well from what we got to see. And of course, I got to ask you, because us as casters, we're constantly messing this up all the time. How do we pronounce your name? Because I want to say it's Queen B, to be honest. That's what I thought it is, but maybe you could shed a little light for us.
It is Queen B, to be honest.
Let's go. Let's go. That's 2 for 2. Okay, so we don't get them all wrong. So yes, that definitely makes me happy that we got that one right. And also, I got to ask you, was this your first tournament? You seem to be a little bit experienced in Fortnite. When I saw you play, I was like, there's no way this is their first tournament. But I could be wrong. Let me know. Is this your first time in an esports tournament?
It is my first time at esports tournament.
Oh, wow. You were playing very skilled. Again, it looks like you have done this before. So I got to ask, what was like the preparation coming into this? Because you definitely seem like a seasoned Fortnite player. Did you put in a lot of practice hours, or what's the secret?
The secret is practicing. I play a lot, but it's mostly just for fun.
Yeah, well, you can see that fun can also pay off. I mean, you definitely made a name for yourself here in this tournament, and you got to play in the finals. So who knows? Maybe you can fight fire with fun after all. So, and you also were able to answer my next question. So that's perfectly fine. That works out. So I guess now the only thing that remains is to put the spotlight on you. Is there any shout outs you would like to make? Anybody that you would like to give credit to right now? The floor is yours.
Definitely my friend Saya. She played it with me. She played this tournament with me, and we practiced a lot together.
Well, that's good to know. And, after this tournament, do you see yourself, competing again, doing more tournaments?
Definitely, but I'll probably do a duos tournament instead of a solo because I think I'm better as a duo.
All right, teamwork makes the dream work. So we'll be actually looking out for you in other tournaments in the future. But one last thing before I let you go, you got to let us know, what is your real name, what school are you repping, and what is your major currently?
My real name is Precious, and my school is Delu. Repping Tougaloo all the way, and my major is psychology.
All right, well, there you have it. Thank you very much for joining me on the desk. It has been an absolute pleasure, and I cannot wait to see you in future tournaments.
I have to say, Cap, I love it as a Black woman in esports. It's always nice to see other Black women in esports do their things and do their things successfully. Again, we've met and known the stories behind so many of these players. It's nice to have insights between them just to get to know a little bit about them. We say their names all the time. We hope you say them right. You did in that case, Cap. And it's been really fun to not only meet some of these players, but to also see them overcome, get some victories, have some adversity, but at the end, a couple of them came out on top, and man, it's going to be so fun to find out who when it comes to the Celebration Bowl.
Oh, absolutely. And I also love being able to put a face to a name because how many times are we shouting out Queen Bee, constantly coming in and doing some work, being able to get a lot of eliminations, coming up with a couple of highlight reel plays, and then you get to see the face behind the controller and actually, get to meet the person. And I don't want to say, starstruck, but, it's still interesting to see that, you can actually have a conversation with some of these top-notch players.
Absolutely. And who would have guessed Queen Bee with the Rihanna red hair? I wouldn't have thought it. Not at all. But guys, it's time to finally come to a close, unfortunately, for the McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Gamer Tournament featuring Fortnite presented by Coca-Cola. Cap, it was a pleasure to work alongside you again. Any closing or final notes before we wrap this thing up?
Well, only that it has been an absolute pleasure to share the desk with you again, as always, Boardy McBoard. But with that being said, also for the folks at home, do not forget that these players were playing for $15,000 in scholarships. We will be picking the top 3, and we will be figuring out the final scores and announcing / crowning the winners at the Celebration Bowl on December 17th. And then the 3 tournament champions, which will officially be revealed and crowned on December 17th at the Celebration Bowl, will win a paid trip to Atlanta. They will get a VIP visit at the Coca-Cola headquarters in Atlanta, a spot in the McDonald's Fortnite Esports League for 2023, a Black and Positively Golden Gamers 2022 trophy, and lastly, the crown jewel prize, that $15,000 scholarship provided by none other than Thurgood Marshall College Fund.
There was so much on the line for this tournament. And again, I'd be remiss to not give more love to our sponsors, the people who made this thing possible. Again, I want to shout out Bragg House, McDonald's, and Coca-Cola for giving these HBCU students an opportunity to wipe away a lot of their tuition. And again, be sure to follow McDonald's. We Are Golden at We Are Golden on Instagram for all things McDonald's Black and Positively Golden, and to stay in the loop with Golden Gamers. Also, be sure to make sure that you download the McDonald's app so you can earn points towards free items at participating McDonald's. Cap, where can I find you before we close it up?
Well, you can find me down below right there. It's at Captain at Soka, and that's where you'll be able to find me and all of the workings that I'm doing in the esports community.
And trust me, there are a lot, especially in the Rocket League space. That boy, good at Rocket League. I'll tell you that. You are. I'll give you flowers. And my name. I appreciate you. And my name is Boardy McBoard. You can also find me. That's my Twitter. There's information in my bio for my link tree where you can find, again, all the workings that we do. We're casters. We do this thing for a living. Again, thanks to Bragg House. Thank you so much to Coca-Cola. Thank you so much for McDonald's for making this happen. Captain at Soka over here, Boardy McBoard over here. Thank you so much for joining, participating. Hope you had a wonderful time. See you at the Celebration Bowl to figure out who gets that $15,000. The top 3 prizes are going to walk away with that money. Without further ado, see you guys later. Thank you so much for joining us, and ta-ta.
Yeah, I think I like it. Yeah. Ooh. That was good.
Good job.
You've been practicing. I told her I wasn't gonna do it.
Here you go, ladies. I got 1 Sprite and 1 High C.
Thanks, but we didn't order these.
Compliments to the gentleman.
Thank you. His mom raised him right.
making me strong.